Good morning. We are back. Let's go ahead and switch over to our main scene here. We've got a tornado ongoing across Mississippi right now, going towards Tylertown, Mississippi. We've got a tornado on the ground right now, as you can see from correlation coefficient. This is the first very notable CC drop that we've had today. We did have a CC drop just a little bit earlier in Alabama, but it didn't look this notable. So this is currently our newest scan. We're about to get a new one here in 15 seconds. Hopefully that shows a lighter debris signature, but this does show that there's a what the heck? Like, you just texted me the most crazy thing. But this does show that there is a tornado on the ground right now, again, heading towards Lexi, just to the south of Tylertown here in Mississippi. So make sure you get to your safe spot. Newest scan I got early on WeatherWise shows there's still a tiniest little bit of CC, but I don't think that's actually related to a tornado. So I believe that this is just a very brief, quick tornado, not one that's going to be sticking around too long, and likely, again, very weak and very brief. Let me just get a few things set up real quick here, because this is a stream that sparked up out of nowhere, so I've got to set up the stuff first before we continue too long. That's a, well, I mean, that still could be on the ground. That's still a tight enough velocity couplet. The CC is just lighter, so this could just be light enough, or rather, the tornado could just be weak enough to where it's not picking up any debris, and thus it shows up as a very small signature. But that actually could still be on the ground, so make sure you get to your safe spot if you are in Lexi or Tylertown in southern Mississippi. All right, stream looks good. Welcome, Caleb and Z, so far. Glad to see you guys all both in here, as well as the other viewers who are watching and not chatting. Glad to have you in here. Again, this is our first very notable debris signature of the day. We had a brief little CC drop in Alabama, but it wasn't a confirmed tornado warning, and it wasn't a very notable debris signature. Another storm I'm getting highly concerned about is this storm here going towards Natchez, Mississippi. I think this storm could be a very big issue as well on the border of Louisiana and Mississippi. And aside from that, we really haven't had a whole lot of tornado activity outside of that over the last couple of hours here. So let me go ahead and disable that real quick. Turn that off. That's very useful, by the way, if you have WeatherWise Pro. Low-key crazy. So we have a destructive severe thunderstorm warning out here in southeastern Mississippi into east central Mississippi. Make sure you're in your safe spot there. There's also another storm. I'm surprised that didn't get a PDS severe thunderstorm warning. That's out here in Hurtsboro. This had a very significant hail core. So we've had two significant hail cores, both that I believe could have gone destructive. One did, this one didn't. But it's had a very consistent, crazy hail core for multiple scans, and it's still there. Look at that, even on the newest scan. Wouldn't be shocked if this is producing hail over 2 inches in diameter. And then this one up here in east central Mississippi is producing hail over 2 inches in diameter. Observed 2.75-inch hail from emergency management via the local National Weather Service reports. And continuing that observed tornado warning, it looks like. Yeah, I definitely could still be on the ground there for Tylertown, Mississippi. And again, definitely want to watch this one on the border of Louisiana and Mississippi. These storms that are on the border of Mississippi and Louisiana have a pretty bad history. We've seen plenty of storms that have fired right in this vicinity, right on the border of Louisiana, Mississippi, right in this radar hole. And they go on to become very well-defined supercells and big problems. The good news is that lower level wind shear isn't that crazy right now. So it's not, there's not a lot of spin in the very lower levels of the atmosphere to get these storms to really rotate and attempt to produce tornadoes. But that wind shear is increasing with time, which is likely one of the reasons why this storm in southern Mississippi is producing a tornado. Let me go. You might hear an echo right there. Nope, you don't. There we go. Yeah, Tylertown, I don't know if it was a Torii, but they had an EF4 on March 15th, 2025. Oh, I can't even spell ongoing right. Looks like that's a lot weaker, but this is still an observed tornado warning, so please be in your safe spot if you are in Tylertown, Mississippi. That's considerably weaker, though, so it may not be ongoing anymore. But big-time hail going into Hurtsboro, Alabama, and big-time hail going into... Wow, that is one of the most impressive hail signatures I have seen in Dixie Alley this year so far. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll change that to, let's see. What DBZ is that? 75. There we go. Tylertown did have a Torii. I wasn't sure if it was Torii or just PDS. But yeah, there you go. So that's a very large hail core there. Greater than 70 dBz, 75 dBz there. So very, very large hail. That's observed 2.75-inch hail once again. So we'll go back down to this observed tornado warning in Tylertown. Not a lot of rotation with it anymore, so it's really, really started to die out. There's still a very clear inflow notch here, but it's not as clear of an inflow notch as what it once was just 5-10 minutes ago. Let's see here. 7 o'clock, so we don't get a new mesoanalysis yet, but I'm very curious to see if our wind shear has increased at all. I could tell you this storm here, this is a storm that's been appearing on a lot of our models and AI guidance for big tornado potential going into south central Mississippi. So this storm has very, very high potential with it. They are still continuing an observed tornado warning there. A little bit surprised on that. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is about to drop a tornado either. It's very hard to see because we're far from radar, but look how good that looks even with how far we are from radar. You could still make out a very good inflow notch there. Well-positioned hail core and a likely hook echo right in that vicinity where I just marked the X at. So definitely going to keep an eye on that. I would say get to your safe spot at, like, right now. Run to your safe spot. Don't wait. If you're in this tornado warning, I would run to your safe spot. Again, this is on the border of Mississippi, Louisiana, which in this particular vicinity isn't extraordinarily populated. But there is some population here. Deer Park, Fairview, Crosby, Ashland. Definitely be in your safe spot. That's a very worrisome supercell right there. Both of these could easily be long-tracked problems if our wind shear is indeed intensifying. So yeah, like I said, other than this storm that I just hopped on here for tornado potential, we did have a brief debris signature earlier. I think it was near Pike Road, roughly near Pike Road, not too long ago. I'd say barely an hour ago. But I didn't tweet about it or mention it on Twitter at all or anywhere because it wasn't a very well-defined debris signature or anything like that. Let's see here. Dang. Storm Chaser, who I've watched for a very, very long time, got struck with lightning. He just got struck with lightning in his car, so it seems like he's okay, but that probably fried some of his equipment, I'd have to imagine. That's completely new, right? Yeah, that's a new one. I thought so. Yeah, so observed 2.75 inch hail tore possible, so that's a continuation of this storm's PDS severe thunderstorm warning as it goes into Greensboro, Alabama. So make sure you get to your safe spot if you're in Greensboro, Alabama. You don't have to get to your safe spot, but I would highly recommend it. It's not a requirement to get to your safe spot. You're not in a tornado warning, and this storm isn't an immediate threat to your life. But if you are outside with this storm, it could be quite the threat to life and property, as it's produced 2.75 plus inch hail. I got a video of a quite significant house fire that has started due to lightning in Tylertown, Mississippi. Pretty significant house fire that started due to lightning down from this storm. And this could easily very quickly recycle. I'm very curious to see if lower level wind shear is increased, because these two storms could easily be big problems. Yep. Yeah, Z, I'm pretty sure it probably did his stream cut off, so hopefully it didn't fire anything, but there's a very high chance it did. So, but the good news is he's okay. Electronics can be replaced, but he can't. So hopefully he's good. He seems good. He tweeted it, posted a video of it. So he seems fine. I hope. You see the house first? Fire? Yeah, I did. I got a video of it. Ooh. Could be some big problems here. That's a much clearer scan here for our storm on the border of Louisiana and Mississippi. Definitely could be some big problems brewing here. This is going to stay north of Woodville and north of Centuryville. Heading right towards Kingston, Ireland, Darrington, Perrytown, Garden City, Firewoods, Rosetta in far southwestern Mississippi. It's currently over Ashland, Crosby, and Fairview in far east central Louisiana. Also over Deer Park, Louisiana. So if it drops a tornado now, it's going to be going into Fairview, Crosby, and Ashland, Louisiana. Right on that border of Louisiana and Mississippi. And just to zoom out to give you a better idea of where that's located. Again, there you go. So you can see here's Mississippi. Why did I draw a W? Mississippi. And then here's Louisiana. And it is right on that border of Mississippi, Louisiana. I drew an upside down M, which is a W. Oh man, this is going to suck. This Birmingham radar site's still down. We are not going to be able to see this destructive severe well at all. We could see it okay right now, but once it gets closer to Greensboro, Alabama, it's going to be very difficult to see. And then this is our long track storm that could have produced a tornado and actually could attempt to produce a tornado again. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a new tornado warning for this soon in southeast Alabama. That could be a problem tornado-wise, but this is the same storm that could have produced a brief weak tornado back towards Pike Road roughly an hour ago in Pike Road, Alabama, or around that vicinity. And now could attempt to be producing another tornado here shortly. We'll see what Mesoanalysis has to say. I know this area doesn't have the best lower level wind shear. Is it 22Z or 23Z? It's 23Z. Yeah, we'll wait to see this full Mesoanalysis come in before I show y'all. But I think our best environment is probably going to be focused in southern Mississippi still. So we'll wait to see if they issue a new warning on that. But so far, no new warning on that. Also, they did drop the confirmed tornado warning, but there is still a tornado warning in effect here for Tylertown. So if you're in Tylertown, be in your safe spot. I have to imagine, even if this doesn't continue to rotate much on velocity, they're probably going to continue that warning up towards Columbia in south central Mississippi, because this storm's in a very favorable environment. It's already produced a tornado. It's going to be going through some cell mergers, so there's a very high likelihood that in about 30 minutes, maybe even less, that this attempts to produce another tornado. I think that could be one of our bigger problems today, and I also think that this could be one of our bigger problems today as well. New mesoscale discussion for the potential of a strong tornado. Let's see here. What? Where does that arrow go to? I think one of the arrows points towards this storm here for strong tornado potential. I'm waiting to get the full mesoscale discussion here. Okay. Well, here is the mesoscale discussion non-graphic. And supercells showing signs of intensification and increasing tornado potential. Supercells crossing the Louisiana-Mississippi border. Let's see. Lower level shear should increase through this evening. Let's see. Tornadoes, including the potential for a strong tornado. 2 other supercells across Louisiana and into Mississippi are also becoming better organized in lower level environments. Could pose the risk for tornadoes over the next few hours. Can we get the graphic though? Nope. But basically, we'll just wait another minute to show that. I mean, I'm sure it will come in very, very soon. I was just going to draw it out, but we'll just wait a little bit. Let's see here. I'm going to consistently be refreshing this. Spam refreshing. We did get the new meso analysis, so I'm going to go ahead and show you all that while we wait for the MCD. Hello, Jake. Glad to see you in here. So there's supercell composite. That's the first thing I look at, obviously. You know me. And yeah, bullseye. Southern Mississippi, right in front of this semi-discrete supercell in south central Mississippi. And there's your other storm of interest. So these are your 2 of interest. 2 main storms of interest. The SPC also denotes this one too. And then here's our storm in Alabama as well. And if we take a look, should be still a pretty good amount of cape left. Yeah, still pretty widespread cape. This one, these 2 pretty close to that crashing cold front here that's pushing through. Very, very close to that crashing cold front. That could allow for that both of these more northern ones to be a bit more messy. This southern one may not be as messy just because that cold front's not positioned like this, further to the south. So these 2 could have a little less tornado potential up here, whereas this one could kind of be like kind of 50-50 tornado potential, and I think this one has the greatest tornado potential. So most likely this one will be our greatest problem, followed by this one, and then wouldn't rule out a brief tornado or 2 up here, as well as we'll have to check that one in Alabama again to see if that's trying anything. That's both back in Mississippi there. So here is your surface analysis. Very good. Very good. 79, 79, 74, 74, 79, 76. These are all very good surface analysis here. Really, really favorable. Oh, and then the one in Alabama, 8265. Definitely more elevated over there. But not horribly. Nah, can't do math. Golly. 10. What is that? Like somewhere around 15. I cannot do math. 17. Haha, 17. I think that's a 17 temperature dew point spread. Low-key, not sure. I think that's a 17 temperature dew point spread. What about surface to 1 kilometer? I want to go SRH. Yeah, this sucks. um, I mean, I guess it's enough. It's 126. Actually, low-key not bad. I thought it was like 50 over here. Never mind. It actually isn't horrible. Yeah, that's a little bit worse. 90, that's a bit worse right there. 87, yeah, that's a bit worse. But this one for Tylertown, 126, 117, not terrible. And then the one for Alabama should be pretty rough too. 80. So, yeah, I think our greatest tornado potential. Man, it feels like the other day we've got 3 tornado warnings for one freaking storm again. I think our greatest tornado potential will be with this storm in southern Mississippi. And look at that, man. It's already being a beast. Being a beast over here. And likely going to try to produce a tornado here in the next 15 or so minutes. This storm, I'm going to go to the analysis radar. Did that end up producing a tornado? Because that actually looks like it could have produced a brief tornado. It doesn't look like it has yet on radar. But I wouldn't be shocked if this produced a very weak brief tornado yet again. Because it produced a probable one near Union. Hold on, no, it wasn't Union. It was west of Union Springs, somewhere out here. I gotta go find the town name again. Where was it? Pike Road. Somewhere up here, it produced a possible brief tornado, and I wouldn't be shocked if it produced another possible brief tornado here south of Hurtsboro, and still could have a little tornado threat with it, but you could see how these greens are getting further and further away from these reds. That's a sign that this is probably going to start gusting out soon, if it hasn't already. Looks like our big hail core died out here, but we still have a severe for 2-inch hail on this severe. And then in Alabama, we have a 2.75-inch hail observed severe. And I wouldn't be shocked if at any point this storm produced a tornado. Wouldn't shock me if this has produced a tornado at some point on the border of Louisiana, Mississippi. If it hasn't, it very well could in the future. But so far, only one very well-defined confirmed tornado today. There's been, maybe two more instances of a potential brief tornado that also could have occurred. And, no strong tornadoes just yet. The environment, the lower level wind shear is expected to improve. But the thing is, the later we go, the more clustered we're going to get and the less cape we're going to have, but the more shear we're going to have. So you're going to lose some thermodynamics and you're going to lose some favorability with your storm mode, but you're going to gain some kinematics. At least you should. Let's see. Caleb, what are you talking about in here? This dude. Sounds like an airplane at highway speeds. Yeah, just like I thought, they're going to continue this more precautionary tornado warning because this very easily, even though it doesn't imminently look like a tornado, as these mergers hit it, that is a horrible arrow. As these mergers hit towards the inflow of this storm, that might help aid in tornado genesis, so we could see a tornado develop out of this very close to Columbia, Mississippi. So very good call from the NWS to continue that tornado warning. I 1,000,000,000% agree with that. Very good call on their behalf. Nope, I haven't experienced a bad wheel bearing. I've experienced a blown out tire that easily could have helped flip my car on the highway. I've experienced a completely demolished water pump before. and also experiencing disc rotors. Those things are going bad on the van. So I've experienced my fair share of mechanical issues. That's actually, if you didn't know, that's one of my other hobbies. I'm very much into auto mechanics. That's one of my off-stream hobbies I'm into. How to change a battery in it? Things expensive. Anything with cars is expensive. You have your things that are a little bit cheaper, but if your car needs repairing, there's a high chance it's going to be very expensive. Like with our cars are getting so old to the point where it's worth just selling them and buying another used car than repairing them. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll see how these mergers go with this storm. If they go how I think they're gonna go, this storm's gonna be a big problem as it gets closer to just southeast of Columbia, Mississippi, towards Lambton, Hub, and surrounding areas. I'm not sure exactly the year, but I know for sure that town's been hit. I feel like it was another year. I don't feel like it was 2013 or 2011. It could have been 2013, what Cactus said. Let me see. Yeah, I think 2013 was the main one. Yeah, that was the 170 EF4. Just under $40 million in damage. 71 injuries, but 0 fatalities. 71 injuries is crazy. That thing went right through the downtown portions of the city. That's insane. Yikes. Yeah, it was 2013. You're correct, by the way, Cactus. 2011, 2013, I could see how you confuse those years. Shoot, at least you were right. I probably would have gotten it in the wrong decade. At least you got, generally correct. I probably would have said a completely different decade. Let's take this analysis radar over to, I think the Hammond radar is the best here. Definitely concerning storm. Again, very, very concerning storm here towards Sibley in Mississippi. Southwest Mississippi. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings right now, but only for 2 storms. Only for 2 storms, man. Let's see. That's a crazy house fire over there in Tylertown, Mississippi. It's crazy house fire over there. A new severe thunderstorm warning here. Not shocked with that at all. That's for Silver Creek. Big time wind and hail threat here. 60 mile an hour winds, 1.25 inch hail. So not like crazy significant or anything like that, but mainly hail and wind threat. Definitely could be disruptive. So if you're in Silver Creek, make sure you're away from doors and windows. Definitely could be quite a pretty rough storm. Probably a very cool looking storm too. It's got such a sharp cutoff. Often storms that have that very sharp cutoff look very, very cool. From personal, yeah, look at that. Yeah, 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 yeah. That storm's gonna look awesome, IRL. You can bet your bottom dollar that is gonna look like a cool storm there. That's going again right towards Silver Creek, Mississippi. All right, storm mergers are almost done on this storm. Give it another 10 more minutes or so. We'll see how it organizes. I thought for a minute there, I thought that it was going to try to produce a tornado before the cell mergers. So you could see it obviously produced a tornado when we went live 30 minutes ago. But then I thought, you know what, this could try again before those cell mergers hit it. And now those cell mergers are ending up hitting it. So thankfully it didn't try in between the cell merge and the first tornado. Let's see here. What are you saying with Rutherford, Alabama? Oh yeah, that's right where I'm looking. This is clear air, for sure. I don't see any clear CC drops here. You got to be careful with some of these very light CC drops that don't align well. Most of the time they're corruption. And if they're not corruption, they can often be such little CC that it could just be radar interference or even just leaves being picked up by some isolated wind gusts. New severe way, way up here in Blue Ridge, northern Georgia. Make sure you guys are away from doors and windows. How are you in that, Sam? I mean, I guess. Sure. We've got a less than 2% risk under a tornado watch right now. Yep. Oh, 2 little areas of it, actually. Actually, a few little areas. Not even in the tornado risk today, but under a tornado watch. I would not be shocked if this is producing a tornado right now. And if it is, I wouldn't be surprised if it's strong either. I want to go see if we got chasers over here. By the way, the MCD, almost forgot to show y'all. Here you go. They point to the 2 storms we're watching very closely here, southern Mississippi and southwest Mississippi. And then they just point to Bro. Like, they just chose a random rain shower near Jackson and said, you. Because this, I don't think that's going to do anything. We could go up to it and see if it's doing anything, but I mean, it's got some better lightning with it, I won't lie, but I don't think that's going to be a tornado problem anytime soon at all, if ever. So I think our main concern is those two areas right in here. Main concern there. Mesoanalysis. Yeah, I want to go see if there's any chasers over here. Nope, it looks like everybody and their mother went to Tylertown. What the heck? Watch this be tornado of the year. Nobody's on it. Yeah, this looks very dangerous. Very, very dangerous from a radar standpoint. This is extraordinarily concerning supercellular look here. Now, this is going to head up towards Meadville. So very concerned for Meadville and surrounding areas. Run to your safe spot. Very concerning supercell heading up y'all's way. So yeah, they did downgrade that PDS severe in Mississippi. It was 2.75 inch hail. Now it's or was 2.75. Then it went down to 2. Now it's 1.75. But the PDS severe in Moundville and Greensboro, surrounding regions down towards Livingston and Alabama, that still remains. That still remains in effect. Gonna watch this storm very, very closely. Looks like it's taking its sweet time here. Very, very, very sweet time. When was the last time you actually had a severe storm, not a severe thunderstorm warning with heavy rain? Golly, man. I couldn't even tell you, man. 95% of the storms that hit me that are severe warned rarely get wind gusts over 20 miles per hour. The most severe storm that we had that was not just a severe thunderstorm warning was actually not even a storm at all. It was from a cold front. We had a big time fire risk like 3 weeks ago, and that sucker had like sustained winds of 20 to 25 miles an hour and gusts of like 40. It was insane. It was insane. I don't know how we didn't lose a bunch of trees and a bunch of days without power. I don't, to this day, don't understand how that windstorm didn't absolutely annihilate my power. Outside of that, the one I could recall the most is straight line wind damage back when I lived in North Carolina, and that was probably about 13 or so years ago. 13 to 15 years ago. Ooh, actually, there was another one after that, I believe either 2016 or 2018. So either 8 or 10 years ago. I had 3 straight line wind events. I had one between 2011 and 2013, and then I had 2 between 2016 and 2018. And one of those, the most recent one, I feel like was in 2018. That's the one that produced winds probably close to 100 miles per hour for me. That thing took out 3 or 4 of our very, very strong oak trees. Also blew one on top of our garage, and another oak tree went onto someone's house down the road. That was crazy. That was my last crazy storm. Like, absolutely crazy storm. I haven't experienced something like that in a very long time. Yeah, my power went out when it got down to 40 degrees the other day. Yep. That was a while ago. That was, I think that was just after the cold front. I think that wasn't but like about a week after the big cold front, big fire risk. Yep, that knocked our power out though. And not just once, but like literally 5 or 6 times we lost power during that. Not as tight of a circulation on that, but still very high concern for a tornado, possibly strong one, to touch down and head towards the general direction of Garden City, Knoxville, Franklin, White Apple, and eventually Meadville in southwest Mississippi. Not surprised there. 2-inch hail now with this storm just north of Silver Creek. Told you it would be a big hail and wind threat. Minimal tornado threat. Look at that CC. This CC is hail falling northeast of Silver Creek. So most likely 1.5 to 2-inch hail falling with this storm. Next CC scan, still very clear hail core right there. Definitely dropping some large hailstones, enough to put a bunch of dents in your car. Damage to sidings, damage to roofs as well. So definitely dangerous. Let's see. Go back over here. Yeah, probably, Caleb. Probably. There's not really a radar software I hate. I don't like Radar Omega, but I mean, I don't know, I'm not sure. But if it was Weatherfront or Weatherwise, yeah. I like both of Weatherfront, Weatherwise. There's a lot of softwares I like and use. There's no software that I hate. I just have my likes and dislikes. Welcome back, Legacy. Yeah, I heard you were sick, Legacy. I have had some atrocious I mean atrocious allergies the last week. Um, I've probably sneezed like over 200 times in the last 7 days. Them allergies have been absolutely demolishing me, man. But I heard you had an actual full-blown sickness. This storm did get severe, though, towards Braxton and Polkville, Morton, so be away from doors and windows there. I don't think it has a tornado threat with it, mainly just a small hail, isolated, damaging wind threat. Golly, man. I really would not be shocked once again if this is producing a tornado, possibly even a strong one. That is just a look and a half. That's almost as good as it gets when you're looking this far from the radar site. Gracious day. That's crazy, Legacy. Hopefully you're feeling a bit better. I just thought of the most random thing. I was gonna say it, but I don't want I don't want Legacy to start thinking about it. Yeah, but sicknesses last way too long, man. I've never had a sickness that just lasts like 2 or 3 days. If I get sick, I get sick, man. These things last way too long. Gotta be rage bait. Yeah, Z, I did. Me and my family were talking about that. I think this morning. Either this morning or last night. Either this morning or last night we were talking about it. Talking about how, are we really about to have another huge outbreak? Huge virus outbreak. Please, no. I don't need something else to deal with, man. But yeah, that seemed, I think that was last night I was talking about it with my family. Because I was talking to them about how I wouldn't mind going on a cruise. And they're like, have you not heard the news recently? And they told me all about it. Had no idea what was going on till last night. Thing is, they're going to be stuck on there for like 1 to 4 weeks. It's horrible. No, now I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you suffer, Legacy. Suffer. You can't suffer any more than what you already are. Being sick is the worst thing ever, man. I'll say something close to what I was gonna say. The worst part about being sick is remembering how good it was to not be sick. That that was the that was part of it. I hate being sick because I have to remember what it's like to not be sick. It's like I'd give up anything to just not be sick again, dude. What the heck is that? What happened? I don't know. Depends what you're referring to. But yeah, this storm in Garden City, going towards Garden City, like I said, thing looks crazy. Oh, no, that's clear air. That is 100% clear air. Yep, and then here you go. The cell merge is done. Cell merge is completed. We'll see. It's got a huge inflow now. Sharp curvature, probably a ZDR arc. And not a very strong one. You could see very strong ZDR arcing back here towards the hail core, and then back towards the hook. Not the best arcing. So you have solid arc here, and then kind of split up a little bit, and then solid in here. Still should be good enough for this to increase tornado potential towards Baxterville, and then eventually going towards north of Lumberton. Golly. Now that looks insane, man. I don't know how this isn't producing a tornado, because it's still not observed. So I'm just assuming it hasn't produced a tornado yet. And I really don't know how, because, man, looks wild. Very crazy. Alright, let's see if we have anything else over here. So again, if you are just tuning in, haven't seen it yet, here is mesoanalysis. Our most favorable environment is directly with that storm in southern Mississippi. And now that it's finished those cell cycles and finished merging with those storms, it should be able to produce a very good tornado threat, maybe even a strong tornado threat in the short term. And this storm, whilst not in the best environment, it has also been very discreet, and it's been undergoing multiple cell merges, which has helped it intensify more and more and more and more. And now it's kind of in front of all those cell mergers. You can see a lot of those cell mergers behind it, still next to it, and even some maybe trying in front of it. But it's really getting all by itself. And man, I think that we're going to have a big tornado on the ground here very imminently, going towards Ireland, and Garden City, Knoxville in Mississippi. Because that looks crazy. Absolutely crazy. It wouldn't shock me if that is even a tornado debris signature right there. It would not shock me if that is the start of a debris signature. It really would not. I know we're very far from the radar, but this thing looks so crazy that it would not shock me if it is actively producing a strong tornado right now heading towards Garden City, just south of White Apple in southwest Mississippi. What's the worst event that has hit you in VA? Well, I'd have to go with like the first tornado in Martinsville in like 30 some years the other day that I fully missed. That necessarily didn't hit me, but it was around my area, and all my family around this vicinity was included in those warnings. If not that, then I would say that random general thunderstorm risk where my county had like 5 tornado warnings active at the same time. That was probably the most impactful one that I can remember. And if we ignore all that, then I'd have to go with snow. We had a crazy snowstorm that had like a friggin' foot of snowfall early this year. And 3 inches of ice, 5 inches of snow, and then another snowstorm with 9 more on top of that. Literally like a foot of snowfall. Yeah. Not surprised there. That's going to be a big old tornado. That is going to be probably a big old tornado right there. I'll give it another full scan here just to be able to confirm everything. In 8 seconds, I get a complete scan right now, only FCC. But, yeah, most probable that is a very intense tornado ongoing. Yeah, that is. Yeah, we've got a very intense tornado ongoing. Not shocked at all. This is probably an intense to violent tornado ongoing heading towards Garden City. I'm quite confident that this is going to be an intense to violent tornado heading right towards Garden City right now. I know I was just not confident in this being on the ground, but now that I can see it's on the ground, I think that this is intense to violent tornado. Oh, I know that noise. Wait for it. Oh. Wait for it. Hold on. Yeah, it's PDS. There you go. It didn't pop up on notifications, but you can see it at the bottom. That's PDS. That is PDS. So PDS tornado warning now in effect. There you go.
New information. This tornado warning has been upgraded.
So there you go. That is a PDS tornado warning now in effect. 2 PDS tornado warnings. So that southern one didn't count, but this northern one did. So 2 PDS tornado warnings now in effect for this same storm here going towards Garden City. Make sure you are run to your safe spot, man. Run to your safe spot because, oh boy, this thing is likely an intense to violent tornado. Probably one of the stronger tornadoes we have seen this year, and definitely the strongest tornado that we have seen in Dixie Alley this year. Definitely the strongest tornado that this portion of the U.S. has seen this entire year. That is for sure. So run to your safe spot in Garden City. There is a little rainstorm that is inside of this storm, and sometimes when this happens, I don't know what's up with it, but sometimes, more often than you'd think, we end up seeing storms fire right in the main updraft base of this. Right where the updraft is for this main storm. In between that updraft and the inflow notch. For some reason, this is like a little favored corridor for additional storms to fire. And I don't know what it is, but we see it a few times. Sometimes it really helps cut off the tornado and it closes that hook echo. Other times it does absolutely nothing. Oh, Lord have mercy. Holy crap. Yo. I really hope that this has not hit any homes over here. I don't see any homes over here, so I'm hoping that this is just over trees. That is an insane debris signature, y'all. Oh my goodness. That is an absolutely wild debris signature. I don't see it passing about 6,000 feet. Which is why a little less confident on this being, you know, an upper echelon tornado. But I still think this is an intense to potentially violent tornado. The reason why it might not be lifting debris very high up is simply because it's just lifting up trees. If this was hitting homes, there's a better chance it'd be lifting debris higher up. But hopefully we don't get to see that. Hopefully this just stays over the wooded areas of southwest Mississippi. And it doesn't hit any homes. I'm curious if we could see this from a different radar site as well. There's the one from the Jackson, Mississippi radar site showing a donut right there. Although this is considerably further. I want to look even further than that. Still some CC there, all the way from your radar site in western Louisiana. This other one, like Lake Charles, yeah, it's just going to be full-on corruption there. I didn't think that'd actually show anything good. And don't want to forget about this. Easily could get a tornado here south of Hattiesburg. Forgot how you say that town name in south central, southeastern Mississippi. So make sure you guys are getting ready to be in your safe spot. Golly. Oh my goodness. Wow. Holy crap. That is, I don't know if that, oh my word, that better not be. I feel like that's corruption. Yeah, that's corruption. Okay. Good, good, good. I still, on this particular scan, I still don't see debris further than 5,000 feet up. This is corruption up here, for those wondering. That's your actual debris signature right there, right? This is corruption. So don't count... Ooh. Well, now that's not corruption. Now I could see that over 5,000 feet up. So now we know this is lofting debris over 6,000 feet up at this point. You also got a reflectivity debris ball, so... Wow. That is crazy. All it takes is one storm, man. All it takes is one storm. One storm in that favorable environment and you get something like this. I'm just going to do a quick tweet on this. Give me just a minute. There we go. All right, here's another scan. Still just as crazy CC drop there. Still just as crazy. Yeah, now we can confirm over 9,000 feet. So we keep getting new scans higher and higher up here. And this is 8,600 feet, and that is very clearly still extremely evident debris signature. So most likely, this is probably lofting debris 9,000 plus feet up, maybe even more than that. I don't know what's up with all this stuff, like... Is this just becoming a ginormous tornado? Like... Is that just a huge vortex hole or something? Because that's like absolutely insane if that's actually true. I really can't tell if that's just like extra rain showers that have wrapped. Looks like a vortex hole to me, man. A vortex / donut hole. Typically, if it's a vortex hole, that CC is going to match up perfectly. So I want to say this is more of a donut hole where kind of the hook is occluded up into the base of the supercell and wrapping the entire mesocyclone in rain. Not necessarily a vortex hole. Because you could see your CC is misplaced from that donut. So I don't think it's a vortex hole. Okay, continuing a PDS tornado warning. Honestly, if this stays on the ground, this is, how many people are in this? Okay, there's a new PDS. Yeah, this might be worth Tori. I know there's criteria for environmental purposes as well, but based off of that velocity signature, easily could be worth a Tori over here. And this is staying on track for Garden City. I don't think there's too many people, like a very high population in Garden City, but there's still people in the direct path of this. And if it hits any of those people, oh my goodness. Remember, Caden, they don't actually... Tories aren't fully based on population anymore. We've seen Tories with considerably less population than you think. It still does play a role into it, but... yeah, when there's lives at risk, I mean... When there's lives at risk and you have a violent tornado... If it's more than 0 people and it's a violent tornado, it's probably worth a Tory, in my opinion. You know, because there's people in the risk of it. People are people. What's the CC drop at here? 27.8. Oh my goodness. If I were to get VROT... The thing is, this is far... The reason why I would argue this might not be worth a Tories because it's far from radar, kind of like what Caden was pointing out there. Because it is far from radar, so we're not getting a very accurate depiction of gate-to-gate velocities. So this storm could be, a tornado could be weaker than what it appears on velocities. But man, that is probably roughly about 16,000 feet that debris is being lofted now. And this is over mainly trees, too. Holy crap. Wow. The fact that it is lofting debris 16,000 feet up into the atmosphere with just trees in the path is absolutely mind-blowing. But now it's getting closer to some population here in Garden City. There's not a crazy amount of population, but there is definitely more population in Garden City than compared to where it's previously gone over. The bulk of the population in this warning is back towards Meadville. This area in here is where the bulk of this PDS tornado warnings population is. Yeah, now that's directly over Garden City. Holy crap. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is absolutely insane. So if this does stay on the ground, it shouldn't have much more population here either, past where it is right now. If you go to the right of this, there's not a lot of homes, if many at all, out here. There's very little. So if it stays on track, I mean, there's really not much population in its direct path. A lot of the population is north and south. Garden City is the only place that has some population in it, but the bulk of the population is north and south of the main tornado. So the next notable population would be west of this location, north of Auburn. And that's going to be in like 30 minutes. I don't know if this is going to last that long. So it's definitely not in the best location because, like I said, there's people. But when it touched down, there wasn't many homes. When it touched down, there's homes, unfortunately, now. And then as it continues east, there's not many homes. So hopefully not too many people are being hit by this. Again, if you follow that track, very rough estimate of where it's going to go. Again, you'll notice there's not very much population there. There's possibly a little bit at the start. A little bit at the start here, and then a little bit in Garden City. But there's not much population in between here, and not much population anywhere in here. Maybe up until you get to that highway. Yeah, but I definitely think it hit probably a home at that point. With all that CC, it probably... Oh, wow. Oh, man. Nah. I want to go back on that real quick here. Let's see. Trying to see something real quick, y'all. Alright. Yep, that's what I was thinking. Trailer homes. And unfortunately, there is no way. There's no way these trailer homes survived a tornado this intense. So I'm hoping that it missed these trailer homes, but man, if it hit them, yeah, you know. Because that's a very violent tornado. You got to be in a brick home, in a basement, or a storm shelter to survive this thing. Like, you have to be in a storm shelter or in a brick home with a basement underground.
New information. This
That's
tornado warning has been upgraded.
Mississippi, which is I wanted to say that was the yeah, it is. I thought that was in a different portion of Mississippi. Is that it right there? Yeah, let's go to that storm too real quick. Because I think that could be a tornado ongoing. Yeah. That's a probable tornado, yeah. Another tornado ongoing here in Mississippi. There you go. There is your debris signature. And this one's a strong one, too. Definitely not as strong as the other one. But that is lofting debris 4,000 feet up. So this is a likely strong tornado here in Mississippi. Just to the south of Hattiesburg in Mississippi. Holy moly, though. Is that maxed? Is that as low as CC can go? Yeah, that's as low as CC goes, y'all. This is as low as it gets, which means there is some giant objects and a lot of objects being lofted. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen a signature like that since June last year. Oh my goodness. Only very select few tornadoes in my life have I seen have that type of signature. Holy crap. Wow. That is crazy.
New information. This tornado warning has been upgraded.
Well, there you go. Definitely a really good call right there. This is now a tornado emergency. This is a tornado emergency. This is the highest level tornado warning that you can get from the National Weather Service. This is as high as the warning spectrum goes from the National Weather Service. There is no other dire warning that can ever be issued from any National Weather Service here in the U.S. This is as high as it gets. This is a tornado emergency, a catastrophic, life-threatening, violent tornado, unlike what this area has seen before here in southwestern Mississippi, is on the ground just east of Garden City and is heading towards Meadville and surrounding areas. This is an extraordinarily life-threatening situation, and it is an unsurvivable tornado if you do not seek shelter immediately in a very sturdy home, underground, or in a basement. This is an unsurvivable situation if you are not seeking shelter now. So please get to your safe spot. This is an extremely violent tornado. Gracious day. Dude. I really hope that this is staying over old trees right now. I gotta go see. What's the population of that? Yes, 700 and... Wait, that's not the right one. My bad. 5,140. 5,140 inside of that tornado emergency. That is an absolutely insane tornado, y'all. I kid you not when I say this. I don't think this scan right here, I think I have only seen this twice in my weather career. A scan this intense. That is literally probably the second most intense tornado I have ever seen in my weather career. That is just so stupid how intense that is. How high does debris go up? Man, as high as you can get. This is the 28,000 feet. 28,000 feet. It's as high as you could get. Reasonably as high as you can get. I mean, you're looking at, yeah, you're looking at a classic EF4, EF5 type signature on radar with this one. Now, thankfully, it's staying over mainly trees, so I'm really hoping, keeping fingers crossed here, that this is only hitting trees. That is absolutely absurd. Yeah, I don't think this storm was mentioned enough here earlier. Once again, we had a debris signature on radar on this storm too. We just overshadowed it from the tornado emergency. This was likely an intense tornado here in south central Mississippi as well, south of Hattiesburg. That was a very intense tornado as well. It just got overshadowed by our tornado emergency, and you could see this is now likely debris fallout. Considerable debris fallout, meaning the tornado's probably lifted. Keyword probably lifted. But definitely did a lot of damage. Oh my goodness. Holy crap. This is now also getting very heavily rain wrapped, so you're not going to be able to see this tornado going towards you. It's still over rural areas, but if this stays on the ground any longer, it's going to get towards higher and higher population here. I mean, we're going to be going towards Meadville and this highway area and interchange that is considerably more populated than where we were. And if it keeps going for an hour plus, it's going to get into city type of population in this vicinity. If it keeps going for an hour or so. Welcome back, Legacy. You didn't miss a violent tornado because it's still ongoing. We've got a tornado emergency right now. Very crazy tornado ongoing. Fun fact, every type of tornado warning is active right now. We have a tornado emergency, a PDS tornado warning, a radar indicated tornado warning, and a confirmed tornado warning. Every type of tornado warning is in effect at this very minute. Oh, wow. Another intense tornado. Look at that. Big time debris signature just popped up on radar here. In, I don't know how you say this, Purvis is what I'm going to roll with. Purvis, Mississippi. Big time tornado on the ground. A secondary intense tornado. This is likely our third intense tornado of the day here. This storm's produced 2 of them south of Hattiesburg. And this one's just north of Purvis, which I believe is a considerably more populated. This one's a very dangerous tornado, potentially deadly here. So if you are in Purvis, run to your safe spot now. There's a very populated tornado warning with an intense tornado on the ground. I wouldn't be shocked if they upgrade this to PDS as soon as possible. That is in a very populated area. Still a violent tornado. Wow. Ongoing here in Mississippi, southwest Mississippi. Oh my word. Oh my word. You're looking at 30,000 feet. 30,000 feet is where that debris is being lofted that high up. And again, it's mainly trees. I hope somebody can get a picture or a video or something of this storm. It's in the middle of nowhere, so I bet nobody's going to get a visual on it, and it's heavily rain wrapped. I hope somebody gets a visual on this thing at some point. Is there anything stopping this? The environment is not overly favorable. It really isn't. The environment is not favorable for tornadoes of such strength that we are witnessing right now. This is definitely... I wouldn't even consider this a volatile environment. I mean, we're not even at a violent tornado parameter of 3. This is a violent tornado parameter of 2. Right on the edge of 2 to 3 violent tornado parameter and 0 to 1 kilometer SRH of less than 90. This is a very, very mid environment that you would normally never believe would produce a tornado of this magnitude. I do think that this is going to slow down and begin to weaken here in the next couple minutes if it continues this look, where it's just embedded inside of this donut. However, I've seen donut tornadoes last for literally like an hour or 2. So, doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to lift anytime soon. It just means that it's looking a bit more sloppy. But I literally know, I can remember at least one instance of a donut tornado lasting an hour plus. Very good call on that.
This tornado warning has been upgraded.
Now a PDS tornado warning for the city of Hattiesburg in Mississippi. And we got another violent tornado. Do we not? Is this literally not another violent tornado right here in Purvis? It literally is.
A new tornado emergency has been issued.
Y'all, that's for Brookhaven. Oh my word. Y'all, that is high population city right there. Brookhaven now inside a tornado emergency. And I think we need a tornado emergency for the southern side of Hattiesburg right now. I think that this is borderline Torrey right here as well. Because this is a very, very populated area. And this, I believe, is an intense to violent tornado. Thankfully, they at least pulled the PDS tornado warning here for Purvis. But man, this is so populated. We are looking at tens of thousands of people. If this goes the wrong direction, tens of thousands of people could be hit by this. Oh my word. I've never seen my list look like this in a hot minute, man. April 26, 2024 was the last time I can remember a list that looked like that. Golly.
A new PDS severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
Fingers crossed this dies out, man. Both of these intense... This one's definitely violent. What was that? I'm paranoid because I'm literally expecting another Torrey right here because that... Oh my word. No, bro. That's a really big CC. Gracious day. That is a huge CC heading into the southern side of Hattiesburg, Mississippi right now. Oh my goodness. I think that's actually another storm that's worth pulling a Torrey for. So again, we have a tornado emergency for Brookhaven. I believe over 30,000 people inside of this tornado emergency. If you're in this tornado emergency, I apologize for using such strong language with this, but you literally, this is the type of tornado that you literally cannot survive if you are not underground. You have to be underground to survive this tornado. Right now, thankfully, it is still in a rural area, but from here on out, I believe it just gets more populated with time. So if this doesn't lift now, it is going to continue into an extraordinarily populated area that just gets more and more and more and even more populated with time. And eventually here in about 40 or so minutes, it's going to be heading into the southern side of Brookhaven. I'm not getting any scans on GR2. I don't know if that's just on my end. This was last updated at 8:13 now. This was last updated at 8:08. So this is an old scan. We also have a PDS severe in Alabama. I switched to that radar to try to refresh here. So I'm going to go back to weather-wise. And I'm going to go up with tilt here. So you could see debris being lofted. Even on weather-wise, you could see it about probably roughly 12,000 feet. Between 8,000. Yeah, I'd say roughly 12,000 feet is the most probable debris with this storm. Which I do believe is worth a tornado emergency for southern Hattiesburg. We'll see if the NWS pulls it here. But regardless of if they do or don't, this is likely an intense to violent tornado heading into the southern side of Hattiesburg. We are looking at, once again, roughly 5 to 10,000 people at risk of this intense to violent tornado if it keeps going on this trajectory. I still... Oh, that looks a bit better. That looks a lot better, actually. But still debris there. Still a very strong velocity signature. Still something that I think could easily be producing an intense tornado here for Meadville in Mississippi. Wow. I still think that this is on the ground, so still be in your safe spot. Both of these look like Fallout. Finally got a new scan on GR2, thank goodness. Both of these look like Fallout. Doesn't mean they are. It just looks like it. This looks like it is full Fallout. Honestly, this looks considerably weaker. Thank goodness. But unfortunately, the damage has already been well done over here. This is, I'm very concerned for this region. And the damage that's been done on the north side of Purvis. That's very, very bad. It definitely went into a very, very populated area in here as a intense to violent tornado. Very, very worried about that area. And yeah, new scans coming in. I'll give you a rough estimate of how high debris was lofted on that in just a bit. And don't let this fool you. If this is lifted, it's most likely going to end up intensifying again. And I still think it's on the ground. I still think it's on the ground, but lifting. Looks like we just got a violent MCD. Just got a violent MCD here. We sure did. For the potential of a intense to violent tornado threat. I'll let y'all know exactly where that is right now. As soon as I could get it. I'm trying my best here. Yeah, they'll probably go SIG 2 at the next update. I really regret deleting my... my hypo. I made a hypo last night, put it in the Discord server, and I had a 10 SIG 2 and mentioned a moderate risk being upgraded. I really regret deleting that. I shouldn't have deleted it because I should have just stuck with my gut, and I went back on it because of what we were seeing. Yeah, I don't think that this is done. I don't think that this is done. This could either still be on the ground and, yeah, kind of in a little weakening phase, but easily could recycle. Or, could just completely lift and then attempt to recycle later. Yeah, oh, Legacy, did you see it in the server? I did delete it in the server this morning. But I did, yeah. But hey, I still have it on record on the actual site. Look at mesoanalysis. Did it change? Look at meso-analysis. So I think you meant to say meso-analysis. Yeah, like the environment here is not even volatile at all. This storm, the Tory storm, is on the edge of a debatable volatile environment. But yeah, okay, so this is a special MCD for this specific storm. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen an MCD like this in a pretty long time. Most of the MCDs I recall are just violent MCDs for like a large area that just say the potential for an intense tornado threat. But this is specifically highlighting one storm and one storm alone for the potential of a strong to violent tornado. Continued strong to intense tornadoes will persist. A volatile environment. They call it volatile. Interesting. Oh, wow. NWS is pre-rating this sucker. That's how you know it's bad. When the NWS starts pre-rating, you know it's serious. You know it is very serious when the NWS is freaking pre-rating tornadoes. You know that is serious. Wow. I don't know if Pez is here, so I'm going to send him this. That's actually insane. Man. I'm not good for this one, man. A huge gap in the data right here that I would really love to have. I don't know why it's just null and void for 7 to 8 minutes here. But I could tell you debris was lofted at least minimum 9,500 feet up. Most probably roughly 12, 13,000 feet up. It's like everything except for my GR2 program has those scans. No, but actually, no, for real, I do actually need to save these scans, because, like, what the heck? Like, I'm not even kidding. This is literally the most insane scan I've seen since our last EF5. So I'm actually going to save these scans in a folder. So give me just a moment to do this. Because that's crazy. Oh, it skipped these scans too. Yeah, so it's definitely something on this particular program's end. I wonder if it skipped it on this one too. The good news is I have a site that I can go on and get the radar archive from very, very easily, so... Yeah, I didn't see this coming today. I did see the potential for an intense tornado threat. I said it in my tweet today, right? I think I said it today. Yeah, this morning. I don't know about today. If we get supercells to be a little less messy, like what the new HRRR has, I wouldn't rule out a long-tracked supercell with the risk for an EF3 plus tornado or 2. All it takes is a messier mode, and this won't perform. Wow, the HRRR freaking nailed it. I mean, it pretty much nailed this supercell, and I think it was one county too far north with this supercell, and the timing was nailed. The 17Z HRRR literally nailed these two supercells. Full-blown nailed this one, like county and all. And this one, like I said, I think it was one county too far south. They might have dropped the Tory. Okay, they've dropped it to a observed warning. So Tory has been dropped. We're down to a observed warning and a still... Oh, well, that one's going to be downgraded to observed too.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Still at PDS for 6 more minutes. But after 6 more minutes, both of these will be dropped to observed. I don't think this one is going to have potential for another intense to violent tornado.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
I wouldn't rule it out. But I think that northern... Ooh, I don't know. I think I'm going to eat those words in a couple minutes. I don't know. It's close. They're both on the edge. I think right now, in the next 30 minutes, this one has the most favorable environment. But I do think this one actually could pose another strong to intense tornado threat. Maybe not imminently, but maybe a little bit longer of a cell cycle for this storm compared to this northern one. Are they on a boundary? This northern one, yes. I believe that's on a cold front, actually. It's a little bit south of the crashing cold front. The crashing cold front is right at it, though. Your crashing cold front's like right in here. So it's right on that crashing cold front. I can't believe what just happened. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the high end today definitely happened. By the way, we had a PDS tornado warning inside of a 5 sig 1, but good on the SPC, man. They shifted this 10% at 4 o'clock Eastern. They shifted the entire 10% south. My word, that was a good call. That was a very good call. Really good call by them. On the outlook I made this morning, I believe this tornado was inside of my moderate, and this tornado was on the edge of my moderate and enhanced. Not like it matters much, I just wanted to say. Oh yeah, it is still right here. There's all my wording for it. Thanks, Legacy. Appreciate it. What the heck?
New information.
Wait.
This tornado warning has been upgraded.
They just upgraded it back to PDS. Wait, what? I didn't see that coming. They downgraded it to a... Oh. Oh. Yeah. When you realize it's actually about to literally produce another strong tor. Very good decision. Very good decision on that. Wow, they didn't even wait another scan. They just saw the next scan and boom. Like, the thing increased by like 30-mile-an-hour rotation, and they just pulled the trigger right away. They didn't even wait. I do think the messiness on that southern end could screw it up, but this definitely could end up producing another strong tornado now. There's your new scan, and there's no notable CC drop there. But we'll see if that continues to be the case. We've also had that PDS severe up in Alabama for 3-inch hail, by the way. Oh my word. 3-inch hail, by the way. What the heck? Golly. Holy hail core. My word. That's crazy. Yeah, so I think this storm's going to take a little while to recycle, but it still could pose a strong plus tor threat once it gets towards the border of Alabama and Mississippi. This storm, I think, is going to pose a strong tornado threat now. I think it's already recycled, and I think it's most probably already back on the ground. So based off of radar, there is a roughly 89% chance that the tornado emergency was EF4. That's based off of radar. That's based off of radar. Remember, the NWS doesn't rate off of radar. They rate off of actual observed damage. I gotta screenshot this, send it to Lucky real quick. Oh, man. It depends on exactly how you calculate it, but yeah, it's got roughly a 90% chance of an EF4 rating. All the debris in the updraft. Now, be careful, because it could be hail. I don't see any debris, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Low key. Typically, when you get an intense tornado, what happens is it carries the debris back up into the inflow of the storm and into the forward flank, back up into here. Because your winds go like this, and then you also have forward flank winds that go like this, and they meet, and it kind of carry the debris up and disperse it, like right in this vicinity in here. Right over Brookhaven. Oh, shoot. That carried it very far. I don't know if that's debris. I don't know if that's debris. That's very far into the forward flank. I feel like that'd be very difficult for a storm to do. Like, if a tornado lifts, right? Imagine it lifts. Your winds are pulling this way in the forward flank. And your RFD is pulling this way, right? So I feel like it'd be pretty dang difficult to get debris up here. I've only ever seen that in the Mayfield tornado from 2021. I've only ever seen that type of debris in the Mayfield 2021 tornado. There's a few other instances where it was some, but this looks a little bit too widespread to be debris to me. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a dual panel. I don't know if I trust that, y'all. ZDR confirms it. I mean, even if, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. I know you guys can't see it completely. But ZDR isn't always going to pick up on everything. Because you could see ZDR, even in this case, ZDR is not that heavy in this vicinity, right? Yeah, there's still some low values in that. That doesn't mean that these low values are debris in here. And I don't know if your debris would be getting bigger. That doesn't make sense to me. It's possible, you know. It's possible. This would just have to be an extraordinarily violent tornado. I'm trying to imagine it in my head right now how it would actually work in vision. And I would think that actually does make sense that as your tornado lifts, the debris starts on this scan, disperses more on this scan, your tornado's fully lifted on this scan, and so your debris is being dispersed more throughout the supercell, and thus it's increasing with time. So if this keeps on increasing, maybe not. But I don't know. That makes sense, you know, because your tornado's lifted, and it's lifted now for quite a little bit, 10-ish minutes. That's enough time for that debris to be completely lofted into the atmosphere, into the upper atmosphere, and then start dropping down into the lower atmosphere further away from the core of that tornado and mesocyclone. That could be debris. Low-key does make sense now that I think of it. That's just a whole lot of debris, man. That's just like a yikes amount of debris if that is debris. That's definitely, that would be insane if that's debris, man. I mean, you're looking at literal large tree limbs falling from the sky if that is debris. That's a lot of debris, man. Like, a lot of debris. A lot. An insane amount. I know I'm saying a lot, but that is properly a lot of debris. I don't think you can fathom how much debris that would actually be if that's literally debris. We also got another special mesoscale discussion for our supercell in Mississippi and Alabama. A strong to intense tornado threat is likely to continue with this supercell here. So this does not have violent potential on the MCD. But I do agree with the potential for a stronger, intense tornado or two being possible with that storm in the near future. Downgraded to radar indicated? I agree with that. Because there hasn't been any considerable debris being lofted at this point, so the thing is, though, I think that this is gonna recycle any second. I think this is gonna recycle any second. Imagine they see both of these MCDs and don't go SIG 2. Yeah, that'd be stupid. I ain't gonna lie. That'd be stupid. That'd be stupid. Like I said, personally, I went SIG 2 on my Outlook yesterday, even though I backtracked on it with the morning observations. I saw the potential for EF3 plus tornadoes yesterday with today's event. I think today should have been 10% SIG 2. I was fully expecting to wake up to 10% SIG 2. Not gonna lie. You may say, why? Well, because today had that type of potential. I knew it from the get-go. Golly. Give that 20 more seconds. Purvis could have been violent. At least an intense tornado, but could have been violent. And then I'm like 99.9% sure that other one was violent. So I guess this one we're gonna, let's see, Garden City. I guess that's gonna be the name that you probably hear the most for that Torrey storm is Garden City. So Garden City tornado, I think, was almost undeniably violent. Like, if you don't think that was violent, you must think no tornadoes were ever violent. This thing has some very real strong to intense tornado potential near New Augusta. You know what I'd be watching? See if this cycles at all. If it doesn't cycle, see what happens when these cell mergers hit it. These cell mergers could definitely help boost the updraft inside of the Hook Echo and really rapidly intensify it. That's if it doesn't try to produce a tornado now. So those cell mergers, if it produces a tornado now, those cell mergers actually could hurt it. If it doesn't produce a tornado now and it holds off, those mergers could actually help it. Not seeing anything notable on this one anymore, thankfully. Oh! What the heck? Wait, how is that there? Give that 16 more seconds. Because that velocity looks like utter crap. I was just about to say how I think it was a good call to downgrade it to radar indicated, but then this just happened. 2, 1, 0. Very strange. Very strange. That's not a particularly strong...
New information, this tornado warning has been upgraded.
Wow. I don't know who you are, but whoever is on desk at the Jackson, Mississippi Radar National Weather Service, Jackson, Mississippi National Weather Service, I don't know who you are, but holy crap, you are on top of it. Like, oh my word, gracious day. Like, I don't know, I want to meet whoever is issuing these warnings, because, like, golly, they are absolutely on top of it. Yeah, that's definitely a tornado, and I think that is actually a strong tornado, despite the velocity not being that strong. I think this is probably another strong tornado. Depending on this scan, maybe intense, we'll have to see. Yeah, probably a strong to intense tornado. And also, based on the fact that we have a reflectivity debris belt, fully expect them to go PDS within the next 2 minutes, considering how good they are out here for Brookhaven. So, Brookhaven, run to your safe spot. Strong tornado ongoing, heading up your way. Might not go into the city of Brookhaven, but it's going to be in very close proximity to you guys. And this is a deviant tornado, y'all. This is moving to the southeast. This is a deviant tornado. So if you're in Brookhaven, don't take any chances. This storm is actually producing a deviant tornado that is moved from west to northeast. Now it's moving from northwest to southeast. So this is a deviant tornado. Don't take any chances with this. If you're in the tornado warning, get to your safe spot. That is a very dangerous tornado. I'm telling you, they're on top of it.
This tornado warning has been upgraded.
Whoever is issuing these warnings are like the best NWS employee I've ever seen. They're on top of it today. I'm so impressed. I love how fast they are. It's awesome. It took them literally like 2 minutes. 2 minutes, maybe not even, to issue that PDS warning. Absolutely on top of it. So there's your PDS tornado warning. Very good reason. Very large debris signature now. We'll have to see the velocity, but yeah. You got a purple debris signature here on reflectivity. On weather-wise, that's going to be pink. Actually, dark pink on here. That's very deep. Need to see that next velocity scan. Yeah. I don't think this is violent just yet, but that is definitely an intense tornado now. What's the area looking like? A little rule, but there is definitely some homes that could have been hit by this tornado as it first touched down. And there's definitely homes that could be hit by this tornado in the future if it keeps going. That's a very notable debris signature. I want to go back to the Mobile. Ooh, yeah, that doesn't look good, y'all. Looks like we're about to have another tornado touchdown very, very soon near New Augusta. Again, depending on what these mergers do, that's definitely a question mark there. But New Augusta, tornado likely about to be on the ground at any given second for y'all in southeastern Mississippi, just barely north of Beaumont in Mississippi. Y'all are saying Jackson radar site? Okay. Before I do that, I want to look. That's 62 miles. This is 60 miles. So they're roughly the same vicinity. And I could tell you, 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to prefer this one more because it's got a relatively clean radar beam right into the hook. This is scanning through a hail core. But definitely a big CC drop on this one, too. Ooh, that's definitely more intense, but that's to be expected when you go up with height. Golly, that's a wow. Holy moly. Maxed out CC again. Holy crap. Yeah, this might be borderline a high-end, intense, potentially violent tornado. Yeah, I think this is intense to violent. If this strengthens anymore, I'm very confident it's going to end up being a violent tornado. And again, deviant tornado. This thing has moved from west to northeast, northwest to southeast, and now it's moving southwest to northeast again. Very deviant tornado. Don't take any chances. If you're in the polygon, get to your safe spot, no matter what the radar shows. Even if the radar shows that it's past you, man, get to your safe spot, because you never know. It could occlude and do a full-blown U-turn. We've seen that before. So get to your safe spot. Again, this is for Brookhaven and surrounding areas in south central Mississippi. I want to go back to Mobile radar site. As I think that this could be another tornado very close to, if not on the ground here. Just on the southeast side of Augusta in southeastern Mississippi. Not as concerning as the one in south central Mississippi for Brookhaven. But still could be on the ground. This one is on the ground, obviously. And this is about to take in another storm merger. I don't think this is worth a Tory right now, unless the velocities rapidly intensify a bit more here. But I don't think that gate to gate is worth a Tory right now. So I think this is a perfect PDS warning right now. Those velocities aren't extremely intense. That debris, though, that debris being lofted 10,000 plus feet up. And if these come together, we're going to get a strong to intense tornado easily. Very close proximity to Beaumont in southeastern Mississippi. Wow. Yeah, again, you lost a little bit of that reflectivity debris ball. Your CC is just the tiniest bit higher. Remember, the lower the value, the larger the object, and the just the overall more debris is being lofted. Now, of course, you also have clear air. It doesn't mean large objects are in here. It's CC picks up different objects. So it's used to seeing rain, right? This is rain. This is rain. But when those raindrops are different sizes, or hailstones are different sizes, or tornadoes lofting debris that is lofting obviously different sizes than raindrops, that's when you get your very low CC drops. Let's go back to the Mobile radar site. I don't know about that one. That's a tough one, but could have a tornado on the ground at any moment here with this storm. This is right in like the hook echo, and in a little bit of high pixels here, so I think there might be some small hail mixed in, so that could cause some interference with the radar. So I'm not fully trusting that, but I can tell you this. If it ain't producing a tornado, it is as close as you can get to producing a tornado without actually producing one. Very close to producing a tornado, if not actively producing one, northwest of Beaumont, Mississippi. Really think that that could very easily be a tornado. It's just those inflow winds are not connected. If the red was connected to the blue, I'd say, yeah, that's a tornado. But it's not connected, and that's what's making me kind of not sure. Golly. Yep, right back to Deviant. Again, Deviant. Now this thing's randomly moving northeast. This thing, I think, has moved almost all directions at this point, except due west. I think this one might be a bit more over houses, which is probably why we are seeing a larger debris signature here. Clear as day, reflectivity debris bowl. Doesn't get much clearer than that. Absolute textbook debris bowl right there. Again, southwest of Brookhaven in Mississippi. Once again, if you're anywhere in this PDS purple tornado warning, run to your safe spot. This thing is a deviant, large, and dangerous tornado. Could be potentially even deadly if you are caught off guard. Let's go back to, I'm going to stay here actually. Just a minute. CC still being lofted 10,000 plus feet up. Let's go back to this radar site now. No notable CC on that new scan. Honestly, a little bit surprised. We're going to have to wait for, definitely a good call there.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
We're going to have to wait for a velocity scan here in about 10 seconds. A new SPC outlook in the next roughly 10 minutes or so. I expect them to go SIG 2, probably 10%. I don't imagine this would warrant a moderate upgrade. So, yeah, thankfully that broke apart more, so that's good. Still could get a tornado out of that in Beaumont, but I think it's going to take a bit longer now since that broke apart. Yeah, that's borderline Tory right there. With the population, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull Tory here in the next 5 minutes. Just because it is such an insane amount of population. I mean, I know the last one was 30,000. This just got updated, so 26,000. That's a whole lot of people. And this is right over homes, most likely. The thing is, it's being hit by a bunch of mergers, and its tail end, what do you call this? There's a word for this part of your supercell. This is part of your supercell here. Rear flank line of convection or something like that. There's a word for it. That could help decrease its overall opportunity to be long tracked. And then you're also getting mergers from the front. So just pointing that out, that could help weaken the tornado. However, considering this storm's history, it's probably going to continue to be a intense to borderline violent tornado here in between Brookhaven and pretty well north of Summit in south central Mississippi. Emergency management reported damage to office building. That's back towards Purvis in southeast Mississippi. Still no full debris scan up into the atmosphere, but at minimum, absolute minimum, 8,000 feet. Most likely closer to 12,000 feet at this point. I just don't have another scan. "12 seconds until we get a new velocity scan here. Again, this is just south of Brookhaven. In southern Mississippi. Ooh. I don't like that. If those winds come together, this thing's easily violent. They may already be together. Give me just a brief moment here. I'm gonna tweet out this one too. How do you spell Brookhaven? Oh, exactly how I spelled it. Ooh, man. 2 seconds before we get another scan. I want to see if those get any tighter. Mm-hmm. They did. They did. So this is probably a violent tornado at this point. Because those winds are likely streaming right together now, just like this, right in that area. Right where those dead pixels are. And that's almost exactly where your debris signature is. Most likely an intense to violent tornado ongoing now. Definitely intense, but most likely borderline violent. Just south of Brookhaven in Mississippi. Jackson radar. Golly. Oh my goodness. Now that's a Tory if I've ever seen one. If that's true, that is absolutely insane. I don't like how it's scanning through the hail core, but it's scanning just a little bit higher up. Nah, that's not actually that high up. 3,600 feet is not high up at all. It's actually better than the one in Louisiana radar site, so... You know, which one do you trust more? Do you trust the one that's scanning through the hail core but closer? Or the one that's scanning further up into the atmosphere but has a clear scan into the hook? Yeah. I mean, both of those are really saying the same general idea. Definitely more broad on that newest scan. But nah, man, that's a violent tornado right there.
New information, this tornado warning has been upgraded.
There you go. And now a tornado emergency yet again for Brookhaven in Mississippi. This is another violent tornado from the same storm.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
That is ongoing. This is a tornado emergency for 26,000 plus people. If you don't know what this means a violent tornado is on the ground and observed. This is a catastrophic situation. If you are in this tornado emergency, that's your white, pink, and black highlighted polygon on screen. It's as obvious as you can get it. Very large, dangerous tornado. If you are not in your safe spot, this is most likely a deadly tornado. Potentially even a unsurvivable situation if you do not seek shelter. Very, very dangerous tornado. Wow. Oh my goodness. Shrouding itself in rain too, so you're not going to be able to see this at all. Not going to be able to see this whatsoever. It is fully shrouded in rain. Definitely some homes here. I don't see a crazy amount of population. The bulk of the population is for sure closer to downtown Brookhaven. But there's definitely some population that's being hit here. Holy crap! That is insane. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, that is actually absurd. Wow. That is actually an absurd scan right there.
A new PDS tornado warning has been issued.
Gracious day. Hey, good call from the SPC to issue that mesoscale discussion, huh? Pretty good call there, don't you think? It was issued by Thornton. That's crazy. I want to briefly just go back to the Mobile, Alabama radar site. Not fully cycled yet, but I still think this is going to have strong to intense tour potential in about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how long this cell cycle takes. Oh my word, that is just... How high up are we now? Oh my, oh my. Yeah, now we're at 21,000 feet. Yeah, remember when I was saying like 9,000 feet? Yeah, now we're at 21,000 feet up for debris. So that's another reason why they pulled that Tory. New day one. Yeah, it better be SIG too. That sucker better be SIG too, man. Yeah, they shifted that entire enhanced risk south as well. So far south that it's actually not even that far from a county in far northwestern Florida. At this point, pull SIG 3. I mean, this is most likely a EF4 plus tornado ongoing again. Second one of the day. So, I wouldn't argue, but I don't think the environment actually supports a SIG 3 upgrade. No SIG 1 whilst a violent tornado is ongoing is absolutely diabolical. That is diabolical. Nah, that is diabolical. You got some guts holding a SIG 1. Nah, that's crazy. Nah, that's absolutely insane. I didn't see that one coming. Still a very violent tornado ongoing. Still a very violent tornado ongoing here south of Brookhaven. Tornado emergency continues. They may even expand this. It wouldn't shock me if they expand this even further.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
I just realized I posted the wrong Outlook.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
That's actually insane. That is a mind-blowing couplet right there, y'all. This is an extraordinarily violent tornado. I feel like I've said that so much today, but it truly is. Like, this is literally a very violent tornado.
A new PDS tornado warning has been issued.
Holy crap. Here comes the new full scan. Wow. So tornado emergency still in effect. Look at that, dude. That's insane. That is insane. So you can see where we had our violent tornado here. It lifted. They repulled that PDS. Remember that random PDS they upgraded after they downgraded it? That was right in here. And then it lifted for a good bit there. And now here's your other violent tornado. And yeah, Caden, that actually got picked up as a debris signature on radar. All that debris that you were talking about, that was picked up there. So, oh my goodness, that is all probable debris and fallout from these tornadoes. The destruction that's happened from this one supercell is probably unimaginable. Shockingly more widespread debris signature here, which signals fallout, but may actually not be the case. We'll see on velocity. I'm not confident that saying that is fallout. Yeah, Rockets, I agree. I agree, man. Yeah, good call there, extending the Tory.
New information, this tornado warning has been upgraded.
I'm not comfortable saying that that's lifted. I think that this could be a little bit of a... I don't know. I don't know. I don't buy it being lifted right now. Wow. So another tornado emergency has just been issued. This is for Silver Creek and Moncello. I can tell you this, y'all. If this stays on the ground, this one's going to be even worse. Because look where it's going. It's heading right for that city. If this stays on the ground, this is going to be the worst one of the day because it's going to be heading directly into that city. That's why they pulled the Tory. Because they know it's heading right for that very populated area. So, fully agree with the extension of that Tory for an additional 12,000 people. But I really hope, yeah, see, I think that's still on the ground. I think that's still a tornado. I don't know what type of funny business the radar's doing here, but I still think that that's a tornado on the ground. I don't think that this is lifted. Maybe it shrunk. Maybe it shrunk. But I still think that this is ongoing. See. Oh, dang. The velocity broke. I didn't see that one coming. That surprised me. Full Nolan Void once again. Let's go to Weatherwise. Yeah. I'm definitely not convinced that's lifted. I am 99% sure that is still a intense to violent tornado ongoing there in East Lincoln. So, yeah, and then this storm here, this velocity's behind. Maybe. Hold on, I'm going to switch this back to the Jackson radar site and then take y'all over to this radar site. Maybe it's not behind. No, it's really not behind. Oh, that's what it is. Reflectivity's ahead. There you go. It really hasn't organized too much, but I still think that this could produce a strong tornado right on the near the border of Mississippi, Alabama. I still think it has good potential. But like I mentioned earlier in the stream, it's just going to take longer to recycle. Now you're looking at about 23,000 feet up in the atmosphere for that debris. Yeah, this actually could be twins. But I don't think so. But it could be. Go back on that just a bit. Yeah, I don't think it's twins. This could easily just be one very large couplet here. But I don't know, because the way that the inflow's angled here, it looks like the inflow's going into this area of rotation here. And then a secondary little area is down in here. So very well could be. We'll have to see what this... the thing that's made this very messy is two things. Golly, that's a lot of debris. A lot of debris right there. It's this, these mergers that fired in this storm that's helped make it messy. And then also the tail end line of convection here, flanking line of convection, whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called. Also helping to make it more messy. Let's see here. Yeah, today definitely could have been SIG 3, but I would have thought the SPC would be crazy if they pulled SIG 3, so I think they should have gone 10% SIG 2. I thought that from the get-go, from yesterday. I still think that this is on the ground. I still think that this fallout isn't actually fallout. Some of it may be fallout, like the tornado's just simply shrinking. But I still believe that that's a tornado ongoing right there. And again, this storm easily could try to recycle if it just gets its act together in the next few minutes. It looks like it's done with cell mergers in the inflow, so I expect it to attempt to produce a tornado once it goes towards the border of Mississippi and Alabama. Yeah, again, still pretty confident that's an intense to violent tornado ongoing. Yeah, look at that. Debris signature on radar now continuing on the Jackson radar site. Jackson radar site has a reflectivity debris ball. If we go back to the Hammond, Louisiana radar site, not as similar there. But I do think that this is still an intense to violent tornado ongoing. Ooh, golly. Yeah, that's definitely intense to violent on that radar scan. This one's 2 minutes old. That's why this one's weaker. The Jackson one is newer. That's why it's stronger. So this thing's still strengthening. Again, that's why I said before that I wasn't convinced that this thing lifted. And I'm glad I said that. Because it is very much still continuing. So still an intense to violent tornado ongoing just north of East Lincoln, heading into Harmony and Fair River, right along 84. And this will head towards probably the vicinity or maybe directly towards this city here in south central Mississippi. Moncello, something around the realms of that pronunciation. I know I absolutely butchered it, but you see the city, so hopefully you know if you're in it or not. Once again, these are tornado emergencies. Both of these are tornado emergencies. That is the highest level warning that the National Weather Service can ever issue. There is no warning higher than a tornado emergency that any National Weather Service in the United States can issue. There's no warning higher than the one you see on your screen right here. No warning higher at all. I'm going to open the Jackson radar site because I do agree with what Caden said a little bit ago. That it is actually so close, even though it's scanning through the hail core, it's probably more accurate now. Oh my goodness. That is a huge reflectivity debris ball. We'll have to see if velocity correlates with that. It definitely hits something out here. I don't know what, though. What are these silos? See if this high res can... Solar panels? Barns? I low-key have no idea. I low-key have no idea what that is. Golly, that still is violent, y'all. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yep, and then look at this. Look at this. This is the Hammond radar site. That's starting to correlate with what the Jackson radar site's saying. This thing is still definitely a violent tornado on the ground. Very shrouded. Very, very, very shrouded in rain, by the way. Very much shrouded in rain. All right, let's go back to... Man, that is just insane. I can't even tell you how high this is. I think it's roughly 25,000 feet up, but that might not be too accurate. I mean, this is a different radar site, and this says 22, so somewhere I'm comfortable saying between 21 and 23,000 feet up. Is where that's being lifted, how high that's being lifted. Yeah. That's still that storm in southeastern Mississippi. Not very organized. Oh, wow. Wow. It's like it gets crazier every scan somehow on CC, but thankfully velocity is a little bit, tiniest bit weaker here. Again, direct course, man. I mean, direct course for that city. Hopefully it goes just a little bit north or tries to occlude a bit north. Stays away from downtown. Problem is, now it's near a lot of population, so even if it occludes, it's definitely going to hit people. It's getting closer and closer to all these homes up here, too. So, really, no matter where it goes, I think it's going to hit homes. Best case scenario is it starts to lift right now. And before it gets towards any homes, it lifts. Yeah, this is pretty cursed. Look at this. We have one tornado emergency. A radar indicated tornado warning, a severe, and then 2 flash flood warnings. That might be one of the most strange active warnings I've ever seen. Like, you go from 2 flood warnings to a severe, okay, a little bit more serious, radar indicated warning, and then you just skip confirm in PDS and go straight to Tori. I find that absolutely insane. Wow. I couldn't get a word out on that one. Oh my goodness. That thing literally took my breath away right there. I cannot believe that debris ball on reflectivity. Oh my goodness. That is just absolutely absurd. I feel like I've said the same thing 10 times today. I apologize, but it's just like, it's so shocking. I don't know what to say. Just absolute insanity. It does look like on that newest scan, it may have moved the slightest bit more to the east, which is very bad news. I hope that's not the case. Velocity is still weaker. You could see the reason why it keeps getting weaker. I mean, our velocities aren't actually attached. Your inflow's out here, and your outbound winds are right here, right? And you've just got this random amount of inflow that's somehow left over in between the actual inflow and the actual outflow. So, like, this thing shouldn't even exist, but it does. Which is crazy. Like, it literally, like, it's not in a spot where you would think a tornado would actually be in a supercell. It shouldn't last much longer because of its location, but who knows, man. Like I said, this storm, man, it has done the unpredictable. So, nobody knows what it does, right? You don't know till it happens, especially with a storm like this. I mean, I can see that, Caden, because if you look at reflectivity here, see on reflectivity how you have this indent? That's what might be keeping it alive. You have these little indents back in here. That might be what's keeping it alive. Higher up in the atmosphere, you got a little bit more room to work with for inflow. And look at that. Tiniest little gate to gate right there, but it's strengthened. Smaller, but tighter and stronger. So maybe a smaller tornado, but still just as strong. And it definitely looks like it turned more east to me. It definitely looks like it turned more east to me. See those last 2 scans? See how it was going like this? In the last 2 scans, it looks like it turned. I really hope that's evidence that it's weakening. Curious what minimum CC shows on this. Yo, that's crazy. It's just a blob of debris. It's just a huge blob of debris right there. Wow. It's still, again, very much a strong to intense tornado ongoing. Absolutely crazy supercell, y'all. You don't see a supercell like this, but maybe once a year. Honestly. Maybe not even. Maybe not even, man. One supercell that produces 3 strong plus tornadoes, and 2 of which are likely violent, and 2 of which that warranted Tories. I don't know if you even see this once a year or once every 2 years. It's extraordinarily rare. Alright, new velocity scan is already in, and it still looks pretty strong. Still looks pretty strong. and it's starting to go, it's about to start to go into a more populated area. You can see the more population begins right in here, roughly. And this is where it's located. So it's heading towards that more populated vicinity. And again, it's pretty deviant. Once more, it's pretty deviant. So it could go anywhere from due north to due east. It could go anywhere in this vicinity in here. Right now, it looks like it's going more due east, more like this. But it very well could try to occlude up to the north. So if it doesn't weaken on this next scan, very high chance we've got an intense tornado moving into a very populated area. Still plenty of CC on that new scan. Still reflectivity debris balls, still good velocities. Not a violent tornado on velocities or anything insane, but still a strong plus tornado. I don't think it's quite violent at this particular moment. Ooh, that's really good. That broke apart. They're still continuing the Tori. I have a feeling they're going to downgrade that if this continues to break apart. That's if it does. But that's a very, very, very good scan that it broadened out and weakened quite considerably. But yeah, still 20,000 plus feet up on that debris. I'm curious. Like, is all of this debris? It wouldn't surprise me. It honestly wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of that is debris. If it is, that's absolutely mind-blowing. Let me go to Mobile Radar Site. Well, despite how good this thing looked and how many cycles it went through, it looks like it just ran out of time. Looks like it's just running out of time here on the border of Mississippi, Alabama. I don't think that's going to be a big problem anymore. How long has that tornado been on the ground? This particular one, I mean, man. Is that when it touched down right there? I'm going to say about 45 minutes. Say about 45, 50 minutes. That's not a good scan. That's not a good scan at all. What the heck? Your debris ball is back on reflectivity and even stronger than the last scan. And your CC is more pronounced. And your velocity is still not that great. That is really good. I don't like how your debris is stronger and more prominent. But the good news is your velocity is a little bit more broad. So despite what reflectivity and CC is showing, I think that this is still trying to weaken. But yeah, this has definitely been a very long track tornado. Very long track tornado. Here's the velocity from the Hammond radar site, and that agrees pretty dang well that this thing is beginning to die out. We'll give it another scan to see if maybe it's a glitch in the velocity, but I don't think so. It's the same. So this supercell It produced its first violent tornado way back here. Like, I'm talking almost 2 hours ago. But the thing is, it's likely produced 3 tornadoes. So we had one violent tornado that was on the ground for probably about 40, 50 minutes. One brief, strong tornado that was on the ground for 5 to 10 minutes. And then this one that has been on the ground for about 50 minutes now. So 3 tornadoes, 2 of them violent, 2 of them long tracked. Yeah, velocities continue to weaken here. Hoping that is going to continue to be the case. But we still have a tornado that has gone through the western side of a pretty populated area here. And it is starting to head into city limits now, and it's into the suburbs here on the southwest side of this primary city in south central Mississippi. But I think that it is dying out. If it re-strengthens, it's going to be very bad. Tornado outbreak was not unexpected, but the intensity of these tornadoes was. We knew today had pretty high tornado potential, and we knew today had strong to intense tornado potential, but we didn't think today quite had the chance to produce 1 tornado that could be violent, let alone 2 violent tornadoes. So, no, I wouldn't say this was unexpected. The SPC first put out a risk area across this area, I believe, 4 days ago. So, I wouldn't say that this tornado outbreak was unexpected, but I will say the intensity that these tornadoes hit was unexpected. Do you think that last tornado we had earlier could be EF3, EF4? I think it was high-end EF4. Based off of where it was, I think it's going to be rated mid to high-end EF4. But if it went through a more populated area, easy EF5. No questions at all. That was the strongest signature I have seen ever since the Enderlin EF5 last year. No questions, that tornado, the last cycle, was EF5 intensity. It just depends on exactly how well-structured homes it hits on what actual EF intensity it gets. But no question, that was EF5 wind speeds. And this one was probably borderline close to that as well, to be honest with you. If we go back to some of these scans from this tornado, the second tornado, like this scan right here, I mean, this could have been borderline high-end EF4, EF5 intensity at some point. But that first one, no doubt in my mind, was EF5 intensity at some point in its lifespan. It just depends on exactly what it hit. If it stayed over fully rural areas like trees, fingers crossed it did, it's going to be rated probably low in EF4, but I think it hit some homes and there's a chance it could get mid EF4. And that's just based off of the area. I'm not necessarily pre-rating. I'm just giving you my guess on it based off of what I've seen off of radar, velocities, where it's hit. I haven't actually seen any of the damage, so. Yeah, absolutely crazy, though. Any damage heard of so far? There is a few damage reports, but I haven't seen anything insane damage-wise. Yeah, I think, I'm pretty sure this is borderline lifted right now. This is just a lot of debris left over. So I expect them to downgrade this to observed or maybe even radar indicated. We thought May was dead. It's literally going to be dead after today. I literally said in my video yesterday that today has the best tornado potential probably out of the next 2 weeks. And if you told me May's greatest severe weather threat was going to be in southern Mississippi, I would have said, Cap, you're lying. There ain't no way. No way. Oh, and also, by the way, 3 tornadoes, I don't know if you know this, but 3 tornadoes is not equivalent to the over 200 plus tornadoes that we averagely see in May. So even if we end May tomorrow, this is going to be a well below average May. But I think the end of May could uptick and potentially get this to just slightly below average. It definitely, the one that went through Brookhaven definitely had wind speeds exceeding 160 miles per hour based on velocities and debris and everything else on radar. Easily could have been stronger than that, and we also got to see exactly what it hit, but probably 160 plus is what I would be thinking based off of radar alone and generally where it tracked. Welcome back, Catman. You've missed 4 tornado emergencies. How you doing? You missed 4 tornado emergencies and 2 extraordinarily violent tornadoes. And one of them was likely EF5 wind speeds, but hopefully didn't do such damage. Oh yeah, this is going to be above average for violent tornadoes. May's going to be above average for violent tornadoes because of this day alone. Honestly. Because we've seen likely 4 strong plus tornadoes, 2 of which were violent, and maybe an additional intense tour. Guess what? Lower level jet increasing. Guess what? Instability decreasing. Lapse rates decreasing. Temperatures decreasing. Moisture. I don't know. But yeah, that's the thing with night. Your kinematics decrease. Your kinematics increase. Your thermodynamics decrease. We're past our peak tornado threat. We're done. We're pretty much done with a tornado threat. This storm, I expect to be done. Yes, I think it will have trouble recycling. I don't think this will be a huge issue. The crashing cold front's right at it anyways. Wind shear is less than what it once was. So yes, I think this will have problems recycling. And it will start getting a bit more sloppy too. It could recycle. It could recycle. I think just now its potential to recycle is considerably less than what it once was. The violent MCD for this storm also expired. So, yeah, that expired about 20 minutes ago. So SPC's thinking the same thing. What is my phone dead? Oh, there it is. Thing took 10 business days to turn on. First light might be bad. Bucko, first light is going to be horrific. What do you mean? The terrain in this area is permanently scarred. What do you mean it might be bad? The terrain in this region is permanently scarred. This tornado permanently scarred this vicinity. You'll be able to see this scar for probably decades. I don't know how the average of it, but I'd imagine you're going to be able to see that scar for at least 10 plus years. I know a very well storm chaser who said, thank goodness the SPC didn't pull a moderate risk today. Yeah, he said that this morning. I bet he's eating his words right now. To be fair, though, he is a very good forecaster. And even I backed down on my the moderate I put out on my personal outlooks yesterday. I deleted all that stuff because I thought, yeah, that's a joke. Nothing's actually going to happen. But yeah, the chaser who said that is a very good forecaster and a very good chaser. We all mess up sometimes. So don't go attack somebody because of what they said. We all mess up. We all overdo it and we all underdo it at some point in our weather careers. If you haven't, then you're lying. If you haven't, then you're lying, man. There you go. Drop the Tory. We're back down to radar indicated. High risk verification. It'd have to be the world's smallest high risk because we had 3 tornadoes in this vicinity. Like, it would have to be the most slim high risk in like this vicinity right here. But a good sized high risk, definitely not. Because in terms of verification, quantity and quality matters. I'd say this would probably verify borderline perfectly as a 15 sig 2. I think the SPC should have did a 10% sig 2. I'm not sure why they didn't. But yeah, I think perfect verification is going to be sig 2 15%. You know, you definitely could argue sig 3, but the problem is, if we're talking perfect verification, I think so. Like, the perfect outlook would probably have been 15% sig 3 today. But if we're talking reasonable, like, reasonable outlook from earlier this afternoon would have probably been a sig 2 10%. I definitely do think that this could recycle for sure. We'll need to monitor it. It has its supercell shape, and as long as it keeps that shape, it's gonna be of concern to me. But I don't think Sig 3 would have. I don't think Sig 3 would have been issued on a day like today at all. Even Sig 2 was borderline not even up for consideration. Because the environment, it's not a volatile environment. I go back to earlier today when somebody in chat said the STP is not high enough for a SIG 2. That same person, I don't think you're in here right now, but this violent tornado happened in a VTP of only 2, and I think the STP was like 2, maybe 3. Maybe not even. Yeah, 3. 2 to 3 STP and 2 violent tornado parameter. So, I don't, like I said, I think SIG 2 was borderline not even on the table based on the environment. Which tornado was stronger? I'm not going to answer that question because both were impactful. And I don't want to put one tornado over the other and make people impacted upset. So I'm not going to answer that one yet. After surveys and everything, and after everything's all said and done, yeah, I'll answer it. But not right now. NATOcast was on to something? Oh, I know. Believe me. I saw the high risk NATOcast put out in South Central Mississippi earlier. And then it also put out a 15 SIG tour yesterday for today. It had a day 2 moderate. Let's see here. Oh, CSU also upgraded to moderate, but the position of that moderate was garbage. It was too far north. The very tail end southern southwest side of the moderate on CSU includes the last tornado of this supercell so far, but pretty much garbage positioning on that. I also don't know why CSU has a freaking 5% tour risk into doggone West Central North Carolina. Like, ain't nothing gonna happen up
A
there but
new
some light
flash flood
rain.
warning has been issued.
So I think tomorrow won't have much. This activity is going to continue in the overnight hours, and it wouldn't surprise me if we have a few tornadoes, one or two strong. Wouldn't even rule out an intense tornado, but I'd say more reasonably a few tornadoes, one or two strong tonight. Possible. Large hail up to 2 inches in diameter, damaging winds up to 75 miles per hour possible tonight. And that will probably last till close to probably 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, I think, is when the main threat will die down. 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. But we could still see some remnant damaging winds and small hail all the way up until tomorrow night. So I don't really think our severe potential is going to be 0. I'd like to see the new HRRR that comes in 30 minutes here. The 00Z is in, but not the 01Z. That's the one I want to see. But I can already tell you, much of this stuff is just going to be a slop fest and have minimal activity. So until the cold front crashes and ends up upscale growthing all of these storms, I don't think our severe threat will be all that high. But I think we could have a secondary peak overnight. What does StormNet have?
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Yeah, StormNet has the greatest tornado threat ending here around 11 p.m. Eastern. And it actually shows a significant increase in tornado activity. It's some reason, StormNet really uptrended with tornado activity from 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow. I don't know why, but it did. I'm going to take a very quick break because I haven't been up in 3 hours. So whilst this recycles and tries to do crazy stuff and gets a new scan, I will be right back. Give me about a little bit longer. Give me about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to take a bit of an extended break. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I don't know how long that was, but it had to be pretty close to 3-4 minutes. Let's see. Nothing really changed with this thing. Still looks like it's going to try again. I hope not, but it could. So get to your safe spot if you're in Collins in southeastern, or rather south central Mississippi. This is our only tornadic storm right now. Had to throw that right now in there real quick. New MCD for the rest of this watch here. This actually came out 30 minutes ago. Increase in the lower level jet has been noted across Mississippi over the last couple of hours with a notable increase in supercell intensity. Guidance suggests that through time, a 40 to 50 knot lower level jet could move into southern Alabama over the next several hours. Mature supercells coming out of Mississippi may continue to pose a risk for tornadoes into Alabama as a result. Cells along the cold front may tend to grow a bit more upscale into clusters, but still pose the risk for line-embedded circulations, including the potential for tornadoes. So as that lower level jet increases, we could have an increase in tornado activity. We'll get a new run here in about 20 minutes, but just to show you, I don't expect a whole lot imminently outside of that one storm in eastern Mississippi. But maybe when things grow upscale closer to 1 a.m., 2 a.m., maybe we could get a bit of an embedded tornado threat out here in southern Alabama, southeastern Mississippi, northern Florida, southwest Georgia. It would not surprise me. So keep an eye out if you live in that area between roughly midnight Central Time, which is right here, all the way until very well into the overnight hours, 7 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning. And then we could see some brief intensification tomorrow afternoon of some embedded lines out here in southern Georgia, northern Florida. Wouldn't rule out a brief tornado. But the main threat, 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail with that. And then also as the cold front continues, we could have some isolated random storms tomorrow evening near or before sunset for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and a brief spin-up tornado. But I think our primary tornado threat tomorrow will actually be in the very early morning hours tomorrow morning. Very early tomorrow in this area. From 1 a.m., or rather midnight central, all the way till about noon central in that entire vicinity. I don't know about that random storm in Louisiana. Could it happen? Yeah. Will it happen? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, you see not the best environment right now for tornadoes. But I think our best environment is in proximity to this supercell that's all by itself that's been producing the intense to violent tornadoes. I think it could intensify as it moves further east. So it wouldn't surprise me if it recycles. I just think it's going to take a little bit longer than what it previously did. So it might take a little bit more time. Let's see. Yeah. So we'll keep watching to see what these storms end up doing. Really only concerned for this storm in southeastern Mississippi, so we'll monitor that. Let's see what Catman's talking about in here. Okay, Catman, you're just rage baiting. Arby's isn't great, but it's not bad. It's not a horrible place, but it's not a great place. I don't know if I would willingly go spend my money there. Like if someone bought it, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll eat it. But If I bought it, nah, there's better fast foods out there. McDonald's low-key gets a little bit too much hate. I'm not gonna lie. I had McDonald's the other day and it was good. Favorite restaurant of all time, Lucky's restaurant. Dude, the chicken nuggets they make over there is awesome. Aside from that, because I have a bit of a bias, a Cookout was really good. The few times I had it, it was very, very delicious. Arby's is better than Popeyes. Never had Popeyes, so I can't comment on that. My most commonly eaten fast food is definitely Chick-fil-A and then McDonald's. Because McDonald's is cheap but still okay. And then Chick-fil-A is just, we tend to have a lot of gift cards for that restaurant. If you hate Chick-fil-A, I gotta ban you, man. I'm sorry. Now, if you say Popeyes is better than Chick-fil-A, you know, that's, you can debate that. I won't ban you for that, but you say Chick-fil-A is bad, I gotta ban you. Chick-fil-A's peak, Chick-fil-A's good. See, there you go. No Chick-fil-A haters allowed. See Reed's new post. Let me see. Did he call something an EF6? Oh, he actually saw the Wedge Tornado. Did he scream EF7? Well, I gotta play the audio. Strawberry Lane. The GPS. Wow, this looks... Yeah, this is definitely Dixie Alley. It's just trees and... Wow. The thing is, I can't tell if that's a Wedge Tornado or just a fat mesocyclone or a big wall cloud. Looks like a wedge. Oh, wait. Actually, the start of that video, that is a wedge. Never mind. The start of that video is definitely a wedge. Yeah, that's definitely a wedge. The middle of it, I couldn't see over the trees in the middle of the video, but then I went back to the beginning, and yeah, that's a wedge. For sure. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I was just checking the rest of that real quick. I'm going to go over to this storm. I don't think it's impossible that this storm's rotating a bit near Pittsview in eastern Alabama. I don't think it's an imminent tour threat, but just something else to keep an eye on. I'm really only concerned for the next hour or two. Really, the only concern is this storm in Mississippi. And I think the tornado potential with that will drop off. It's low right now, but I think it will really drop off once this stuff congeals into a more slop fest. But I still think this has the potential to produce a tornado for the next about 2 hours or so. So the environment right now, not the best. But then once it goes a little bit to the east here, a bit better. And then when it goes really far east, I think it will be congealed into a line. So I think between this area, it has a good opportunity to produce another tornado. I've passed Culver's many times, but I have not tried it. And I don't have any of them close to me. But I've storm chased all over North Carolina and portions of Virginia, so I've passed multiple. So, yeah, but it seems like a good restaurant. It'd be something I'd want to try if I have enough spare money on a storm chase. All right. Yeah, so we'll just wait and see what this storm ends up doing. Like I said earlier, it's going to take a while to recycle, so we'll just watch it. My voice is fading out so fast. Yeah, we got a video of the, I don't know which tornado that was. Was that the, Brookhaven storm? Or the one here closer to... Oh, you said... Yeah, this is the area you said. Yeah, so that was the one closer to... Meadville. Can't even go back that far. That was the first Tory Garden City tornado. See you later, Caleb. I won't be live anytime soon after today, and probably won't have any videos anytime soon after today, unless somehow Saturday looks good. But I'd like to take a little break and then start going back up again. I know I've had a long break, but I need to actually recover. I did a lot of stuff over the weekend that absolutely exhausted me, and then I hopped right back on to doing a video yesterday and then a live stream today, so I'd like to have maybe another 2-day break or something. I'd like to not have anything on Saturday, that'd be great, but if we need to, we'll go live Saturday. I really don't see much after that, honestly, so content's probably going to be far and few between after this live stream. But this is an old scan. I apologize. I didn't mean to freak anybody out right there. Go to current scan here. Yeah, late May definitely could cause some problems. Yeah, I think this is going to try to recycle here. We'll see if it can recycle now, but it might take a little bit more time. In 13 minutes, we'll be left with, if nothing else gets issued, only this tornado warning. No other severes. So we only have one severe, one tornado warning, so we shall see. Let's see. Yeah, tag Catman so that way I could see it. Because for some reason, and Catman, you can tag me in it. For some reason, after you at me more than once, it gets targeted as spam on Twitter. And I don't get the ats. Very stupid. I know. Actually, you know what? I might know exactly what you're going to at me in. Aha! I knew it. I knew it. I found it. You don't have to, Catman. I knew it. I'm not sure about that. The reason why I'm not sure about that is because that sounding is taken in an practically irrelevant area. The only thing that's relevant in that area is the fact that there's a radar site. If we look at mesoanalysis, Yeah, Sheer definitely could have been underdone by the HRRR. That's not a surprise. But this is what I want to show you. Your wind shear is probably going to be higher further to the south. Like you can see on meso analysis, you're up to 100, 150 down here, further off to the south. Whereas back up to where this environment actually is, you're closer to 50, maybe 100, back where we actually were. So I feel like there's a big difference between the environment where this violent tornado threat actually happened versus where that sounding comes from. But yeah, I definitely get it. The fact that models could have underdone wind shear. Definitely no surprise. Not saying that person's wrong by any means. Just saying I feel like that might be a bit less relevant than they're thinking. Also, I'm not too sure how they exactly compared that. Because when I use the 00Z HRRR for right now, which is 02Z, it shows actually it's overdoing wind shear, not underdoing it. So I'm not too sure how they compared that. But like I said, I'm not saying the person's wrong or anything. I don't want to start anything. Just not sure. Not sure about that, you know? Not sure about that. That person's smarter than me anyways, so maybe I'm just not that deep into meteorology yet. Yeah, not sure. This is the only day where I don't agree with the HRRR hate. It nailed the hailstorm on the border of Mississippi, Alabama at 8 o'clock. It nailed the double Torrey with the intense to violent tornado potential in southern Mississippi. It was only one singular county too far north with the other PDS tornado warning out there towards Purvis, Mississippi. This is one of the only times I disagree with the HRRR hate. Normally, I'm all for HRRR hate. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You know, models are models. They're going to be wrong often. But the HRRR was pretty dang consistent on that one supercell. Like, it even had it there since 10Z. So it was pretty consistent on that area. That's another reason why on my Outlook I normally keep private but uploaded and then deleted. I had a 10 sig 2 and then one of them I had a 15 sig 2. And then in the afternoon, I deleted all that because I was like, you know, this turned into a slop fest. Nothing's going to happen. And then something very much happened. Very much happened. Very, very much happened. Yeah, I know. I saw NATO cast. 4 Tories, man. I'd like to know the last time that happened. what was the last day we had this many Torii warnings? The first one that comes to my mind is April 26th, 2024, but definitely could have, probably was sooner than that. I'm not 100% sure, though, where we had 4 Tories. Here, I'll send it to you, Catman. Here. There you go. Yep, you know your severe threat's dying down when all you're getting is flood warnings. That's how you know. Yeah, we did see a that tornado warning still ongoing for 35 more minutes though. For Collins in southeast Mississippi. It's going into a radar hole. Yay, sure is. Sure is. Sorry if I go a little bit more quiet when there's only like 1 or 2 storms to talk about. I tend to not talk a lot. But that's no longer tour possible there, so that's good. And this storm, I mean, it's still trying to ramp up. We'll just see. We shall see. Pez, get off my stream, bro. Get out of here. I think Mayfield had a 5. I have no idea how many Mayfield had. I know it at least had 3, though. Minimum. Probably had more than that. Most likely did. Let's see here. Trying to find this tweet and I can't find it. But anyways, just make sure you're in your safe spot here if you're in Collins, Mississippi. I like how Nightbot just deleted Pez's messages. I love it. I love it. Trailer park in Mississippi has serious damage. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if that's actually the trailer park we saw on radar. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Alright, I don't think we'll need this radar anymore, but I'll keep it open just in case. Keep that open just in case. Yeah, I mean, this is just staying broad, just like how I thought it would. Again, it could recycle, but it's just struggling, which is what I expected. I wonder if Mesoanalysis is updated yet. Let's see. Yeah, it has, and it definitely shows wind shear is increasing. But more wind shear isn't always more better. Especially when it comes to at night when you start to lose your kinematics. I keep saying kinematics. Especially when you start sacrificing thermodynamics for those kinematics. Because you can see this storm here has been in an environment with 150 to 200 0 to 1 kilometer SRH for the last hour or two, and it stopped producing tornadoes actually as that wind shear began to increase, oddly enough, which is very strange. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this storm's going to end up producing, 8 tornado emergencies now that it's going into a more favorable wind sheared environment. If anything, I actually expect it to produce considerably less tornadic circulation due to the lack of thermodynamics, the increase of SIN, and then the increase of shear could help a little bit with a slight increase of tornado activity compared to the last 30 minutes, but I don't expect anything notable. Not any notable increase there. Yeah, for once you actually had an overlapping 700 millibar jet stream overlap with your 500 millibar jet stream overlap with your lower level jet. So that's probably also what helped today go crazy, is the fact that your jet streams actually overlapped for the first time in 2026. I don't think that's actually the case, but it feels like every time I look at those 3 main jet streams, they're not overlapping. Like, it's not a bad environment, it's just the cape's going down and the cap's going up, and I just think that's going to hurt the environment enough to where this storm might have one more shot at producing a tornado here in the next 30 minutes, but it just might get too messy beyond that. So we might have a lull of severe weather between like 11:30 all the way till like 1:30 Eastern, and then as storms start to congeal into that line on a cold front, we could see an increase in QLCS tornado potential. My goodness, I just put my water on my keyboard. Thought I was going to play a tweet and I'll get copyrighted. I did click on a tweet, but thankfully it wasn't a tweet with a video. Saved. So, yeah, meteorology, very complex. Like I said, more wind shear doesn't necessarily mean it's better, despite logic. You'd think the more shear there is, the better tornado potential there is, but it's not always the case. Also, vice versa. The less wind shear there is, not necessarily, in some cases definitely, but not in all cases, is less wind shear worse for tornadoes. For instance, 2 violent tornadoes in a wind sheared environment of only 80 0 to 1 kilometer SRH. So, there's never one said thing with weather. One and done said thing with weather. It's never more wind shear's always better, less wind shear's always worse, more capes always better, less capes always worse. Every setup is different, and that is what makes weather interesting. It's always unpredictable, and you're always trying to figure out why this setup worked and why the last one didn't. Well, I hope that's not true, Critty, but considering it's coming from him, there's a very, very high chance that is very true. But I hope it's not. But we'll see. Yeah, actually, multiple chasers have already confirmed at least one fatality. Not looking good here. I mean, it's looking looking like it's really trying to get its act together. But again, you're just not going to see this tighten up as fast as what it once did. It's just losing that environment. Also, this storm, by the way, where it had that first tornado emergency, that was when it went through the environment that was previously of upwards of like 4,600, 4,700 Cape. It went through that same very, very favorable thermodynamic environment. Have we had a wildfire or something in Northwest Florida this whole time? Because I keep seeing that on satellite imagery. I don't know exactly where that is. It looks like it's somewhere like up in here. Let's see. There's that little indent. It's like right up in here. I like looking at wildfires on radar, so I'll go see if I can find it. Grumpy and Ben missed this one. I mean, you're not always able to tune into stream, and like Catman said, it doesn't always give you notifications. Oh, yeah, there you go. There's a wildfire. Look at that. Literally nailed where I thought it was based off a satellite, too. How good I am. I can read a map. Let's go back down to these radar. Okay. Just wanted to see if that one was any closer. It's definitely not. So, I don't know. We'll just keep an eye on it. I mean, shoot. What else you gonna do, man? I'm not gonna end stream just yet. We're definitely getting towards the end of the stream, but I'm not gonna end it just yet. Yeah, StormNet drops probabilities drastically after 11. But it's still pretty confident that this is going to produce a tornado here in the next 10 minutes. So I want to stay live to see if that actually comes to fruition. It's very confident. What is the probs on this actually? Yeah, StormNet has like a 63% chance of this producing a tornado in the next 10 minutes. And it dropped off from here on out. Ooh, bats on radar? Yeah, that's near San Antonio. That's near this bat cave up here, northeast of Bend. Where's our wildlife reservoir, whatever it's called, reserve? I forgot what it's called. I don't think Pete missed the Tories. I think Pete was here. He's just not one who chats the very second he gets in. Oh, it's a ranch. Oh, no. It is a preserve. I think I was saying reservoir. It's a preserve. My bad. Definitely a lot of bats, man. Look at that. It's so satisfying how they just explode. Bats were the fastest thing to intensify today. They went from 0 to 10 billion in a split second. Bat initiation has commenced. Just a friendly reminder that the tornado probabilities today were the same as yesterday in terms of your watch probs. Which I said at the start of the last live stream that I disagreed with that and thought that today should have been a little bit higher. Feel like they haven't done very well with watch probs this year. I'm going to be honest. Feel like they really haven't. They've been pretty inconsistent on the watch probs. I figured you were, Pete. Yeah. Yeah, today was a what's crazy is it's barely a tornado outbreak. You know, we had what, one, two, three, four. I don't know if today was a tornado outbreak. Actually, I don't know if you could consider this an outbreak. Isn't that insane? What do we have? 5 tornadoes, 14 reports, but a lot of those are repeat reports of the same tornado. Like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reports on this one tornado, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tornado reports on this other tornado, and then 1 report on another tornado. So we have probably 3 to 4 tornadoes today, roughly, but 14 tornado reports. So I think you could call this a regional outbreak, considering it was really strictly southern Mississippi that had the bulk of that activity. It was really right in here. So I think you could call this a regional tornado outbreak. And it was very impactful. Tornado outbreak or not, it was very impactful. I'll probably end up titling this the May 6th, 2026 historic tornado event as it happened. Not outbreak, but event as it happened. Because this was extraordinarily historic for southern Mississippi. Actually, it was both, Catman. It was actually south in here. We had an intense tornado, likely intense, south of that area, and then also 2 violent tornadoes and maybe a strong tornado as well. 3 tornadoes up there. Let me go see. Do I want to click on his live stream? Because tornado damage can be pretty bad sometimes, especially when you're first on scene. It's very bad. Yeah, so I think this tornado potential on this storm's going to go down drastically here after this cycle. If it doesn't produce it now, which it looks like it's not going to, it may have another opportunity later, but not crazy opportunity. Man, let me tell you, world's best decision to go live for that random confirmed tornado warning in southern Mississippi 3.5 hours ago. I may not be live for everything in 2026, but shoot, I've done a pretty dang good job at balancing not live streaming as much as last year and live streaming still enough to cover significant events this year. That was my goal, was actually to live stream less so I could spend more time with my family this year. And let me tell you, it has paid off. I have been very, very busy. And I've had a lot of fun both off and on streams. Definitely, last year was not good for me. You got to learn how to balance these things. Sometimes you could get a little out of control with your hobbies. Today's a mini tornado outbreak of 2 supercells. No, that's actually so true, though. Literally, these 2 supercells turned today from a complete bust to a historic tornado mini outbreak. Like, literally, all it took was 2 supercells, man. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. All it takes is literally 1 supercell, and we had 2 of them today. And that's the same thing for hurricane season. All it takes is 1 hurricane in hurricane season. Two of our biggest tornadoes have been in enhanced risks. True, but not our biggest tornado outbreak. Our biggest tornado outbreak still is held by the moderate on April 17th, 2026. I don't think that's going to be beaten, actually. All right, see you later, Catman. Thank you for tuning in, and good luck on your chemistry test. That dude's going to be an SPC meteorologist in a few years. I'm calling it now. Either that or NWS employee. Hopefully he'll remember us. Yeah, let me go back to April 17th, because I still believe that that was the biggest tornado outbreak of the year. 90% sure it was the 17th, right? April 23rd. Golly, that's a crazy sequence of severe weather. I forgot how crazy late April was for severe weather. Yeah, 21 tornado reports. Did I say 21? I don't know. 121 in April 17th, 2026. Brooklyn, welcome. Welcome to the stream. You're tuning in probably towards the end of the live stream. I'm not going to go for too much longer, but you know, we've been live for probably by the time I end, 5.5 hours today. And if you didn't see, you missed 4 tornado emergencies, 2 violent tornadoes, and one of those probably was the most violent tornado of the year. I'm pretty sure that the tornado that went through, where was it? Garden City. I thought it was. I just didn't want to seem like an idiot. Tornado that went through Garden City was probably the strongest of the year. Like I said, I think in terms of wind speeds, most likely Garden City was more violent than Enid, but so far it seems like Enid probably ended up through a more populated area, and that tornado impacted more people. So if we're comparing wind speeds and wind speeds alone and only wind speeds, then I say yeah. But it's not all about the tornado's intensity. Most of it is about where the tornado occurs. Because if you have a tornado with 250, 300 mile an hour winds in an open field, there's a very high chance you'll remember the scans of that, but the impacts of that is going to be very minimal. And then if you get, an EF3 tornado or an EF4 in St. Louis, those impacts are going to be significantly higher than the random violent tornado in an open field. So I think Enid probably is going to have the worst damage due to population, but I think in terms of wind speeds alone, Garden City's stronger. Welcome, Use the Force. Like I said, we're probably going towards the end of the stream now. But yeah, very, very bad. Very bad. Probably the most violent tornado of the year. We had 4 tornado emergencies today out of 2 storms. Or no, my bad. 4 tornado emergencies out of a singular storm today. We had an intense tornado down here near Purvis. A violent tornado that went through the southern side of Brookhaven in here. And then probably the strongest and most violent tornado of the year went through Garden City in this vicinity and here. So 4 tornado emergencies. And then we had also the PDS tornado warning in Purvis. So not good. Not good at all. There's you can see there's one of your tornado emergencies from earlier, but I can't go back all the way. I can on WeatherWise. Watch this. We'll go back all the way on WeatherWise. WeatherWise's new update allows you to go even further back than before. Here you go. Started in eastern Louisiana. we called out the storm right here. Right here is when I first called out this storm on stream being a big problem. Downstream. And remember, I believe I literally mentioned... I think I mentioned... What were the two towns I mentioned? I forgot where it was. But I know for a fact I mentioned somewhere in this area. I'll have to go back in the stream and see where I mentioned. Either in this stream or the last live stream. And then we went live again. Somewhere between there. Went PDS. Continued PDS. Then it went Tori, as you can see here. First Tori. Second Tori. That was a huge Tori. Right there. Got downgraded to observed and then re-upgraded to PDS. Downgraded to radar indicated, upgraded to observed, upgraded to PDS, upgraded to Tori, and then another Tori. So 4 Tories. I wonder. We go right here. This area was in 3 tornado emergencies. Look at that. Tori 1 was right here. Tori 1, Tori 2, and Tori 3. Like, this area, like, right in here actually was in 3 tornado emergencies today. Because it was recycling and they didn't know if it would have, you know, the potential to become violent again. That violent again. You don't want to leave a Tori up for, unless it's actually like a proper ongoing intense to violent tornado. You don't want to leave that Tori up for probably much of its time frame. Like you could see this Tori, they left up for much of its time frame because it was a violent tornado ongoing during its entire time frame there. This new one they downgraded because it weakened into a strong tornado and then actually lifted, so they downgraded that. This one they then upgraded to Tori. And you can see the next one they upgraded to Tori 2 and then downgraded it. So most of the time a Tori is going to end up being downgraded because of the storm lifting. And a Tori is a very, very serious warning. You don't want to leave that up very long. You only leave up the Tori as long as you absolutely need to. Because again, a Tori, you're talking about one of the strongest tornadoes to... Only the strongest of strong tornadoes occur in a tornado emergency. So you don't want to leave those up for an hour or two for a storm that could produce another violent tornado. Because, you know, what if they left that up for an hour or an hour and a half and the storm never reproduced another tornado? But they kept the same wording of a catastrophic tornado is on the ground, even though it, you know, lifted. So you really don't want to leave that in effect for as long as... You only want to have it in effect for as long as you absolutely need to. And they try to do that with every warning, but Tories are taken even more seriously due to the fact that they are literally the highest warning that can ever be issued. Why issue it so far out? Because they were kind of thinking it'd be a bit more long-tracked, but it wasn't. And also, I don't know why you're exactly complaining about that, because that actually gave a considerable heads up to people who actually did end up getting hit by a violent tornado anyways. So, you know, you had 45 minutes of 45-minute heads up by a tornado emergency from the previous violent tornado. So I think you're looking at the wrong issue here. I think you're looking at the wrong thing. Really shouldn't be complaining about National Weather Service in Jackson. I think they handled the situation as good as you possibly can. I think Jackson needs the most praise that they could possibly ever get. I think they did probably the best job I've ever seen from a National Weather Service today, honestly. Literally. I think they literally did the best job ever from an NWS. I don't think they could have done any better. So, I hope they get praise for it. I hope they get praise for it. Hope somebody buys them a pizza party or something. If I was down there, I sure as heck would, man. I sure would. There's actually a few chasers I know down there. Maybe I could try to get in contact with somebody. But I hope they get a pizza party. I know chasers have done it before. When we're the Tories, golly, man. Let me go to the first one. The very first one was issued roughly at 8 p.m. Eastern, so that was about 2 hours and 39 minutes ago. Second one was issued at 8:11 Eastern, 11 minutes after the first one. This is all in Eastern, once again, so just subtract an hour since you're in Central. The third one was issued at 8:57 Eastern. And then the very last one was issued at 9:05 Eastern. About an hour and 30-some minutes ago. And that final one was downgraded at 9:36. So, the last Tory we had was downgraded just an hour ago. Forgot about time zones, yep. That's why I said Eastern after every single one. I try to make that clear. Oh, man. Yeah, but, it does seem like the same person who posted the one about the HRRR posted one about the RFSA and other models. I mean, yeah, even though it's not in even though it's not in the right area, the point that the person's making is the fact that models were absolutely garbage in terms of the wind shear. So, yeah, it's almost 11 p.m. here. I didn't plan to live stream this long, but when you got 4 Tories active, you ain't thinking about the time limit, man. That's for sure. Let me tell you that. That's the last thing of my concern. I was locked in, man. The last 3 hours flew by like the snap of a finger. I went fast. So, like I said, I won't be live for too much longer. I think the greatest severe potential and tornado potential will be in this area for the next 30 minutes to an hour. And then I think we'll still have tornado potential after this too. But it might be a bit of a lull. So we might have a bit of a lull in tornado potential between 11:15 Eastern. Between 11:30 Eastern, we'll start seeing a lull in tornado potential. And then it may increase again sometime near 2 a.m. Central across southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, northwest Florida, into southwest Georgia. So I wouldn't fully rule out a few weak tornadoes and maybe even 1 or 2 strong. Yeah, the thing is yeah, if I could know when every Tory is issued, I would be live for every single one of them. I don't believe I've ever missed a Tory so far, but the thing is, when you go to sleep, you could easily get a Tory overnight with some of these events. Some of these events last well into the overnight hours, so you can easily miss one. Now, if there's a Tory active and I'm awake, heck yeah, I'm going live for it, unless I'm physically unable to. How many Tories this year? 6? I believe we've had 6, I want to say. I want to say today more than doubled our count. Because I want to say we had one in Eastern Illinois, Northwest Indiana, the Enid one, and then 4 today, which is absolutely insane. When is my next chance for some severe weather? Late June. Not anytime soon, Brooklyn. Unless you're talking about the next chance for some rain and maybe gusty winds. But if we're talking a notable tornado event, being possible, you might as well just hit the fast forward button on May. Like, really. I think late May could have some tornado potential, but right now, I mean, models are that is an insane run by the GFS. Golly. I don't know exactly where in late May, but I think late May will uptick for severe weather potential, and that could include your area. So being realistic, maybe late May. I'd be watching late May. But you could end up with a marginal risk, maybe a slight risk between now and May 20th, but the main potential for severe weather should be around May 19th and later in the US. Today was our last notable day for severe weather, probably for the next week, maybe even 2. I don't think we'll have another risk in the next 7 to 14-ish days that will be worth an enhanced or borderline moderate risk category like today. Yeah, Critty, the fact that they actually kept it SIG 1-2 as it was ongoing very much surprised me. I thought they would issue a SIG 2 at the 9 o'clock update, but they didn't. So, it just shows you why you should never call an event early, man. Because I know for a fact there was somebody out there that thought that this event was a full-blown bust very early. I had my suspicions with overconvection, but you never call it a bust until it's completely over. Like I said, never call it a bust until 12Z the next morning, which is typically 8 a.m. Eastern the next morning. You roughly want to do your 24-hour time frame is roughly 8 a.m., 8 a.m. day of to 8 a.m. the next day, or 7 a.m. day of to 7 a.m. the next day, depending on what month you're in because of that dumb old spring forward fallback ordeal that we have. That crazy thing. But yeah, I think I'm going to conclude here. I'm comfortable with ending. I think we still have Tor potential, but I don't think we have Tori potential. I do think that this could produce a tornado in the next 30 minutes to an hour. So monitor that if you are in Laurel or surrounding areas going towards Waynesboro. Once this gets towards the border of Mississippi, Alabama, I think it's going to die out just like our other storm did. I guess Mississippi, Alabama has a curse or something, that border, because the other storm died out right at that same time. But again, I do think we could see an uptick around 3 a.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Central across Alabama, northern Florida, southwest Georgia. That could extend into southeastern Mississippi, but definitely focused on southeast Alabama in the overnight hours. That seems to be the main area. So I will see you guys in 14 days for the next one. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. I will probably have a video out sometime between now and then, but the next live stream, on a real note, has a chance to actually not be for another week or so. Yeah, but I imagine I'll have another video out in the next week or maybe 2. I should have a video or 2 out in the next week or 2. But I'm going to take a good break this weekend. Spend more time with the fam. And as I've been obviously very much enjoying that. I love it. We've had 2026 has been awesome so far. Aside from, tornado threat hasn't been that fun. Especially not today. So, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday? Wednesday. Haha, I got the day right. I hope everybody's okay from today. Unfortunately, I believe we already had 1 fatality. I hope that's not true, but I hope everybody's okay. And I hope we don't have any more injuries or fatalities reported from our events earlier today. So, yeah, I'll still be up watching the weather. So, if something absolutely diabolical starts popping off, I may hop on again, but I highly doubt it. And I will see y'all not tomorrow, because tomorrow doesn't have much severe weather potential with it. Just some isolated severe weather, isolated brief tornado or 2 possible tomorrow, but nothing worth covering. So I will see you whenever, man. I don't know. I don't know. I'll try to do a community post at some point to let you know generally when, but probably not for a while. So sometime between Saturday. I know I won't have any content tomorrow or Friday. So sometime between Saturday, which is the 8th, and mid next week, I should have content between maybe Saturday and Wednesday, just to give you a rough time frame. Saturday and Wednesday, late this week into early next week. I should have a video out at some point just discussing the severe weather potential for mid and towards the end of May. Thank you, Mods for Mod Chat. I appreciate you guys all for being here. I know everyone and their mother was live, but we still managed to reach over 1,000 people, and that's all because of you guys hitting that like button, sharing the stream, viewing the stream. Even if you watched for just a minute, even if you're just now tuning in and leaving, you helped reach us over 1,000 people today. So really, really, really appreciated, especially on days like this when everyone and their mother is live and we can still reach an audience. It's very appreciated. I'm very thankful for every single one of you guys tuning in. So once again, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday night, and I will see you in the next live stream or video that I do. Probably a video between Saturday and Wednesday. That's late this week into mid next week. And all right, I've got 15 more seconds to wait for the outro music. So yeah, hope you guys have a great night. And once again, thank you, Mods for Mod Chat. Hopefully everybody's okay after today's event. Stay safe, watch the severe weather. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch the severe weather, have a great rest of your Wednesday night, and I'll see you guys in a video maybe sometime early next week. Goodbye.